Marvel, I'm a bit strong with the thunder fruit at the start. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 1: Borrow money. Buy a grave. Bury yourself. Hey, what's wrong with the screenwriter? Why doesn't Captain Marvel just wear the Infinity Gauntlet? Damn. What do you mean by running around with these fucking gloves? I'm so angry Robert Downey Jr. has to show off after the contract ends. It's so frustrating. A young man in an apartment in Huaxia Magic City yelled at the computer screen, almost making him die of anxiety. It's really weird that a viewer, is so anxious that he scratches his head. Even after watching it several times, he still thinks it's too fucking bullshit. Oh, forget it. It's just a movie. Why bother? Turning off the computer, Chen Bei rubbed his temples and sighed. The pressure recently is really a bit high. He just graduated and faced too many offers from major companies. He really has a headache. The phone keeps urging him. Sometimes, people can't be too good. It's really a happy trouble. Who said it's just a movie? It's just part of the Marvel world projected into reality. Do you want to go to that world and dominate the world and change that world as you wish? Suddenly, in this space, where there was no sound except breathing, a voice that was not like that of an ordinary person sounded. Who is playing tricks? Come out. No. I don't want to. I don't want to go. Chen Bei was so scared that he jumped up. How could he encounter a ghost in broad daylight? Oh my god. I really encountered a ghost, right? Haha, kid, what are you afraid of? Don't think I don't know your bad idea. I'm not a ghost. Suddenly a woman emitting a strange light appeared. Of course Chen Bei couldn't see her appearance clearly. One word. Fairy air floating. Fairy music lingering. The woman said to herself, you have 1 minute to ask questions now. After 1 minute, I will send you to a Marvel universe. Kyo Dalmase. Hey, big man, I have no grudges against you. Why are you making things difficult for me? I'm just an ordinary person. Of course, I'm a little handsome, a little talented, and a little strong. Chen Bei quickly argued loudly. I'm living a good life. Why should I go to a world where I can be killed even if I fart? Humph, time is up. Good luck to you. The glowing woman snorted coldly and did not give Chen Bei any chance to regret. She directly waved her hand to open a space-time wormhole and kicked him in. I will be back. Chen Bei let out a final stubborn roar and left like a grey wolf. Boy, the future can only depend on you. This is your last chance and ours. The glowing woman looked at Chen Bei and murmured and disappeared. In the Marvel universe in September 2008, deep in a desert, no one knows where it is, but it is in Afghanistan. A black hole suddenly appeared in an empty cave, and then Chen Bei stumbled and fell out. Pop. You are so awesome that you can bully others. Chen Bei muttered in dissatisfaction after landing, then climbed up and looked around. This is obviously a cave. Why is it so unlucky? It is obviously a deserted place with few people. Maybe he will be eaten by wild animals before he walks out. Huh? Question mark? 2 living people. 2 sloppy miners? Or miners who have never seen the world with hammers? Isn't it? In front of Chen Bei are 2 grey guys looking at him in a daze. Why do you look so familiar? I seem to have seen you somewhere. Well, isn't this Tony shit? Chen Bei finally remembered. No wonder he looked familiar. If this guy hadn't been covered with grey, I almost didn't recognize him. Who are you? How did you suddenly appear? What do you want to do? Tony came back to his senses and asked 3 questions in a row. He was almost scared to death by Chen Bei's sudden appearance. What about his secrets? I'm not doing anything. I said I was kicked here by someone. Do you believe it? Chen Bei smiled awkwardly and scratched his head. No. Tony and Ethan blurted out and shook their heads vigorously. Well, I can't do anything about whether you believe it or not. Chen Bei shrugged. It's hard to be a good person these days. No one believes me when I tell the truth. Seeing that the 2 were still staring at him vigilantly, Tony had already picked up the hammer in his hand and was ready to hit him at any time. Chen Bei's mouth twitched unconsciously. This guy wouldn't want to kill him to keep the secret of the iron armor. Haha, don't worry, I won't tell on you. I'm still counting on you to save me out wearing this iron box. Chen Bei quickly waved his hands to show that he was not aggressive at all and that he was in the same group with him. Tony remained unmoved by Chen Bei's words. He would not easily hand over his life to a weird guy. He tightened the hammer in his hand, ready to give Chen Bei a critical hit at any time to make his head split open. Haha, I'm a good man, a very good man. Chen Bei smiled awkwardly and at the same time took 2 steps back, leaving Tony's attack range, and quietly picked up a wrench on the workbench. I'm a gangster. Who am I afraid of? I don't care about life and death. I'll fight if I don't accept it. I might have killed this Marvel protagonist as soon as I crossed over. It seems like a 1-for-1 exchange is okay. Anyway, I have a rotten life. Nothing to be afraid of. I have no parents or brothers since I was a child. At this time, Ethan gently pulled Tony and whispered in his ear, Tony, I see that he is strange. He must not be the kidnapper outside, and from his accent, I know that he is a Chinese, and his Chinese English can't fool people. Tony heard Ethan's analysis and thought about it. If he fought with Chen Bei, he would definitely recruit people from outside. After thinking again and again, Tony finally put down the hammer in his hand and said that he intended to reconcile. Chen Bei also put down the wrench in his hand and breathed a sigh of relief. No one wants to die at the beginning. After all, it is better to live a miserable life than to die a good death, right? Let me introduce myself. My name is Ethan, and the person next to me is Mr. Tony Stark. We have all been kidnapped. What do you call this Chinese gentleman? Ethan directly acted as a peacemaker and came out to laugh. Chen Bei, Chinese. Chen Bei spit out a few words. There was no information in just a few words, and Tony and Ethan didn't care. Just knowing the name was enough. You can't just call him. By the way, Mr. Tony is a real rich man. Can you sponsor me a few $1,000,000 when I go back? In silence, Chen Bei suddenly said something out of the blue. Tony was stunned. Are you so sure we can go back? You are so rude. You just asked for millions of dollars. So Tony looked at him in confusion. Why do you want so much money? Chen Bei looked annoyed and said, buy a piece of Feng Shui treasure land. I will bury myself. Damn it, why is there no system yet? It was said that the time travelers are all the protagonists. Chapter 2. Are you the system that graduated from Penguin? Ethan and Tony both twitched their faces. What the hell was this guy hired by the monkey? His train of thought was really strange. Isn't this guy too weird? No wonder he came out of a black hole-like place. This weird way fits his weird train of thought very well. Comrade Tony suppressed his smile and stepped forward to pat Chen Bei's shoulder gently. Don't worry, I will give you a lot of money so that you can definitely choose a satisfactory Feng Shui treasure land. Thank you. Thank you for your 18 generations of ancestors. Chen Bei glanced at him and said with a smile on his face. His expression was as polite as it could be. You're welcome. You're welcome. Tony waved his hands repeatedly. This guy didn't understand that this was one of the quintessence of China. He was so stupid that he simply thought that Chen Bei was really grateful to him. Suddenly, just when Chen Bei wanted to continue teasing Tony, a sound of nature rang out in the depths of his soul. Ding, the system adapter is detected to have contacted the plot character, and the first stage of the system is activated. May I ask if the adapter is bound to this system? System. Senior time traveler, system master, don't blame me. Don't blame me. I believe you. Please forgive my previous unreasonableness. I will burn incense and thank your 8 generations of ancestors when I go back. Bind. Of course bind. Ding, received the command. Adapter, please wait. The system is in the process of soul binding. Chen Bei said hurriedly in his mind, but in reality he suddenly turned around and found a corner to sit down. Tony and the others were confused. What happened to this weirdo? He was about to speak just now and suddenly fell silent. But a weirdo is a weirdo, and they understand it. They started to go back to the workbench to forge iron, busy making guys who can escape, and they can't waste time. Time passed bit by bit, and 10 minutes later, the system once again sent a voice that Chen Bei considered a heavenly sound in his heart. Ding, the system is successfully bound. Congratulations to the host for becoming the first user of this system. System, tell me about your functions and roles, and what tasks I need to do. Chen Bei is an educated young man who has read thousands of novels. What does he not know? He knows all the tricks of the system clearly. Ding, reply to the host. This system is called the Fishing Heavens system. As the name suggests, the system can fish for everything in the heavens and the world. No matter what ability it is, or items, etc. This system can fish for the host. Fishing the heavens? Chen Bei was stunned. Is it so explosive? My goodness, this is going to be rich. Can you fish for beautiful women? But he curled his lips. What is fishing the heavens? It's better to call it plundering the heavens. It sounds good. Well, system, since you are fishing the heavens, tell me why you still fish? Chen Bei was curious whether it could play any new tricks. He knew that there is no free lunch in the world. Sure enough, here it comes. Ding, replied to the host, the items in the heavens and the worlds cannot be taken away by the host at will, and naturally follow some rules. Currently, the host can buy fishing rods from the system. There are white, blue, purple, pink and gold fishing rods. The highest is gold before the system upgrade. Different fishing rods naturally have different abilities or items to catch. The higher the level of the fishing rod, the better the things you can catch. Of course, it also depends on the host's luck. Maybe your luck has exploded. Chen Bei heard it. So professional. You said you are fishing. The system really prepared fishing rods. There is something. System, how do you get your fishing rods? Buy them with money? This is what Chen Bei wants. Don't talk nonsense, just tell me the price directly. Ding, replied to the host, the main source of these fishing rods is to buy them with money. Soon the system gave the price, and a sci-fi screen appeared in front of Chen Bei's eyes. He stared at it, and saw it clearly. White fishing rod, $100,000. Blue fishing rod, $1 million. Purple fishing rod, $10 million. Pink fishing rod, $100 million. Golden fishing rod, $10 billion. After reading it, Chen Bei seriously suspected that this system had stolen the poisonous milk powder from Penguin Company. It can't be said to be very similar. It is exactly the same. Did you graduate from Penguin Company? Chen Bei couldn't help asking, his eyes full of suspicion. Ding, replied to the host, this is just a reference. If the host doesn't want to, you can directly change it to other colors. No, forget it. It's good this way. It's clear at a glance. Chen Bei shook his head quickly. This is also a familiar way. He has also played with poisonous milk powder. It's him. It's him. He is Leopard Head Zero Chang. It's not that he doesn't want to rush. It's just that he doesn't have that few coins in his pocket. Oh, by the way, what other ways can you get it besides buying it with this money? This one that costs money is a bit expensive. No, it's extremely special. Very, very expensive. And he is currently short of money. Ding, another way is for the system to issue tasks, and the host can get rewards by completing the tasks. Chen Bei heard it. Wow, this is the best way. He is too poor now, and can't afford it at all. If only I were like Tony Stark, a big dog owner, or Batman, boss. Every now and then, I would play with the golden fishing rod, and turn the bicycle into a motorcycle. Wait, who said I had no money? Chen Bei suddenly had an idea. Wasn't the big dog owner he was talking about right in front of him? He almost forgot about Tony, the mobile vault. Rob him. He must rob him. Chen Bei's eyes changed when he looked at Tony. That was a big fat sheep. Suddenly, Tony was awakened by the fiery eyes behind him. He turned around and saw Chen Bei staring at him with burning eyes, which scared Tony so much that his penis tightened. What are you going to do? Don't look at me like that. I, Tony Stark, am a steel straight man. Tony shuddered fiercely and said fearfully and quickly straightened up. Damn it. Damn it. Chen Bei was also disgusted by Tony's words. Damn it, what the hell are you thinking about? Chen Bei was so angry that he almost smashed his head with a wrench. He cursed angrily. Fuck. You extremely dirty guy, get out of here. Chen Bei was so angry. I'm the ultimate boss who has collected all the beautiful women in Marvel, okay? Who do you think you are? Tony smiled awkwardly and turned around quickly. But he was always warned in his heart that he should be careful of the guy with a problem in his brain behind him, because this guy would definitely pit him. Chen Bei here finally calmed down and continued to immerse himself in various problems of the system. By the way, do I have any novice gift packs? Chen Bei asked with concern. This is the most important thing. This broken place is too dangerous. I'm just an ordinary person, and I can be knocked down with one shot. Ding, back to the host. Since the host is binding this system for the first time, a golden fishing rod is specially rewarded to the host. May I ask, if the host is fishing now? Then what are you waiting for? Let's start. Chen Bei was a little excited, and he came up with a golden fishing rod worth tens of billions of dollars. So what are you waiting for? Ding, fishing begins. As soon as the system finished speaking, a pond with a radius of 100 meters appeared in Chen Bei's mind. This system was well formed. In less than a minute, the fishing rod began to shake violently. Chen Bei swung the fishing rod violently, and a disgusting looking fruit was thrown up. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the perfect thunder fruit. Chapter 3, the perfect thunder fruit is a bit strong. Perfect thunder fruit? How is it perfect? There was a saying before that devil fruits have many disadvantages. For example, seastone is their nemesis, and any material with seastone can restrain them. They are also afraid of seawater, and they may drown if they soak in it for a long time. There are also mutual restraints between devil fruits. If they encounter an enemy that just restrains them, they will be dead. And the most important thing is that they can only eat one. If they eat the second one, they will probably explode, right? The key is that many devil fruits don't have illustrations. What if they eat a garbage devil fruit? It's too tragic. The devil fruit needs to be developed by itself. This running in period is not a disadvantage. Any powerful power acquires practice makes perfect. In the past, he would definitely eat it directly. It doesn't matter if we can't be pirates in our lives, we can be bandits. Hehehe. Now, with the perfect thunder fruit, how is it perfect? System, explain it. This was caught by the system, so it is naturally its method, but it must be said that this method is quite awesome and unfathomable. At this time, the system spoke directly. Ding, first of all, congratulations to the host. I have to say that the host is really lucky. The first time I fished, I caught such a high level item. Host, the perfect thunder fruit, as the name suggests, all the previous shortcomings have been wiped out. The thunder fruit is not afraid of seastone and seawater. As for the characteristics of a fruit, there is no conclusion, and the side effects will be directly wiped out. That is to say, except for the running in period, the host needs to slowly develop it by himself, and the rest is completely perfect. The golden fishing rod naturally has no shortcomings. If it is pink or other, the system will not optimize the items caught. The system said it clearly, you are just lucky. It also explained the reason clearly. After hearing this, Chen Bei was overjoyed and almost couldn't help laughing. Perfect. Perfect. The start is quite perfect. With a flip of his hand, a devil fruit with purple and white lightning flashing all over the body appeared in Chen Bei's hand. He stopped when he was about to swallow it in one gulp. System, its taste should be optimized, right? Host, of course it is optimized. Please rest assured when the system does its job. Okay, then I'm relieved. Chen Bei smiled slightly. What are you waiting for? Hunch. Hunch. He buried his head and started eating. Although it was enough to eat one bite, he would have thrown away the shit-like taste in the past. But now it's like eating pineapple. It tastes so good that it's too good. It's the most delicious fruit he has ever eaten. Burp. Chen Bei almost ate the whole perfect thunder fruit clean and burped. This wolfing appearance naturally attracted the attention of Tony and Ethan. They couldn't help swallowing their saliva, and they almost died of greed. They had curry and rice all day here, curry and rice, and they almost vomited and swore not to eat it for the rest of their lives. As for fruit, in the past month, they had eaten nothing but fruit, and they hadn't even drunk any beverages. At this moment, seeing Chen Bei wolfing down the fruit, the two of them had already green eyes. Chen Bei, where did you get the fruit? Yeah, there's nothing here. I saw you came here empty-handed. The two looked at Chen Bei carefully and still saw that he was clean and didn't look like he could hide anything. Damn it. However, Chen Bei ignored the two and ate the last bit of the thunder fruit. He was not sure whether this perfect thunder fruit would create two identical abilities. He was not a saint. Naturally, he would not leave any opportunities to others. There was only one me in the world, which was enough. He saw Tony at this time and said leisurely, I had a pineapple in my pocket when I came. Okay, you are so stingy that you don't even know to share with us. It's just a pineapple. I have money. I can give you 10,000 yuan when I get out. Tony pouted, very unhappy. What the hell is a pineapple for you? Fuck. I'm so greedy. Tony's complaints made Chen Bei's eyes light up, and a plan came to his mind in an instant. A plan to cheat people was born in his mind instantly. Can't we sell so many useless and effective things to other wealthy dog owners in the future? Isn't the guy in front of him a complete dog owner? Such fat sheep are everywhere in the entire Marvel world. Hehe. Hehe. Chen Bei couldn't help but show a bright smile. He was so smart. He directly recycled the waste. He could fish at no cost. Ha ha ha. This uncle is really a genius. But this sly laugh scared Tony. Could this guy be sick again? Such behavior is too strange. Can he really be safe with such a weird teammate? He expressed great doubt. Chen Bei ignored the two of them and sat down by himself. After the perfect thunder fruit was swallowed, it began to transform his body directly. Now his body surface began to emit arcs. Fortunately, Tony and the others were able to strike iron again at this time. Chen Bei raised his hand, and a cluster of electric arcs was born in his palm. Although it looked like only this inconspicuous point, Chen Bei believed in their power. The perfect thunder fruit was awesome. He could control 1,000,000 volts now. Even though he was still a very long distance away from 200 million volts, a crosscut would surely make the guys outside turn into ashes. In addition to lightning, he could now create a lightning electric field with a radius of 1 kilometer, and he could teleport without loss. This was cool. At the same time, he could now transform into a lightning form and be directly immune to the physical attacks of the bullets and artillery outside. Now he seemed a little invincible, so what were he waiting for? Just go out and kill them. Chen Bei immediately found Tony. He couldn't just take them out for no reason, right? Wouldn't that be a loss? So, he had to go out, and he had to get the benefits. At the moment, when Chen Bei acted, the sound of the system's machinery sounded again. Ding, mission released. Rescue Tony Stark, and kill all the mercenaries outside. A purple fishing rod will be rewarded for completing the mission. Ding, mission released. Save Ethan's life to prevent him from dying prematurely. A white fishing rod will be rewarded for completing the mission. Accept the mission. Chen Bei did it without hesitation. It was just a matter of convenience. I didn't expect the system to issue a mission to send money. I like it. The system really understands my heart. Chen Bei walked to Tony and said, Tony, let's make a deal. What deal? Tony continued to work without even looking up. What good could happen to Chen Bei? I'll take you out, and you give us 100 million US dollars. Chapter 4. Cool and elegant. Chen Bei's words surprised Tony. He was not surprised by Chen Bei's big mouth. 1 hour was not surprising to him. He was surprised that he could take him out. Tony stopped his action immediately, and the hammer stopped in midair. Are you sure you can take us out? Tony stared at Chen Bei and asked seriously. Yes, there are at least 300 people outside. All of them are desperate criminals with guns and live ammunition. Ethan was also a little unconvinced. Although Chen Bei was weird and mysterious, he could not hide his initial panic from them. An hour ago, he was trembling with fear and confronted himself, looking very uneasy. How long has it been? Did you pretend before? Are you teasing us? Of course it's true. I don't care about those guys holding fire sticks outside. Seeing that the two did not believe it, Chen Bei smiled slightly, flicked his fingers, and a ray of lightning rushed out. The next second, in the surprised eyes of the two, a huge rock exploded. Oh, God. Are you a mutant? Fuck. So you've been lying to me? Ethan's eyes widened in surprise and he covered his mouth tightly, while Tony thought that this guy was too bad. He was so awesome, but he pretended to be a fool and lied to him. From now on, he couldn't believe a single punctuation mark in what this guy said. What's the matter? What's the matter? Why did it explode suddenly? Mr. Tony Stark, I told you to be careful and don't blow yourself up. That's not our intention. The explosion naturally alarmed the guards outside. They asked Tony to study rockets for them, not to let him hurt himself. He walked in casually, while swearing and carrying a gun. When they walked in, they saw a strange face. Click, click, click. The bullets were immediately loaded, and the bolt was pulled up, facing Chen Bei. Fuck. Who are you? How did you get in? Tell me the truth and I'll consider leaving you with an intact body. The grey ghost in the lead held a gun and stared at Chen Bei viciously, intending to kill him if he didn't agree with him. You. Chen Bei scratched his ears and looked at the grey ghost sideways. Chen Bei was so arrogant now. He had just obtained the legendary incredible power of the devil fruit. The whole earth couldn't accommodate him. He was ready to float out of the earth. Humph, since you are looking for death, I will grant you your wish. Seeing Chen Bei's uncooperative attitude and bad attitude, the leader was immediately angry. This pretty boy's looking for death. Snap. He shot Chen Bei without hesitation. Polite. That's in the movies. The villains still hesitate for a long time. This is reality. Everyone shoots if they don't agree with you. He is a mercenary and a desperate criminal. How can he be polite to you? Saying one more word is just to let you die with a clear mind. You. Are you a human or a ghost? Or a demon? The kidnapper leader was scared to death. He felt like he had really seen a ghost. He had hit a wall. Because this shot did not cause any ripples, Chen Bei in front of him turned directly into a lightning form. Physical attacks were useless to him. Of course I'm a human, but I know you will soon be a ghost. Chen Bei smiled. Before the kidnappers could react, they saw a flash of lightning in front of them and saw their bodies. Huh? What's going on? How can I see my body? It's really strange. The last thought flashed through their minds, and they no longer had any life. They fell into eternal darkness. How could their mortal eyes observe the speed of lightning? Chen Bei condensed lightning into a knife in the void and beheaded everyone at lightning speed. In the blink of an eye, Tony had no time to react. When the kidnapper's head fell to the ground and hot blood spurted more than a meter, he reacted and couldn't help but reach out to touch his neck. Fortunately, my neck is still there. Wiping the cold sweat from his forehead, Tony was terrified. It was too fast. Ugh. Ethan here has already started vomiting. Fuck. They have seen murders before. They have seen a lot in the past few days, but they have never seen a head cut off with a knife like this. This strong visual impact made his worldview collapse. The headless corpse, the head still staring with a terrified look, the body gurgling with blood. All this is too horrible and too bloody. Tony's heart is useless. He also ran and vomited, cursing Chen Bei's barbarity in his heart and whether he has any manners. But Chen Bei had long disappeared. This guy teleported out of the cave and vomited outside. Damn. Killing people so coolly, so cool and elegant. Between the flashes of swords and shadows, the head fell to the ground, killing one person every 10 steps and leaving no trace for 1,000 miles. How cool, but he really couldn't help it afterwards. This was the first time he had killed someone in his life. When he saw the head flying out and the blood dripping, he couldn't help it. Of course, how could he behave so indecently in front of Tony? He had to maintain his cool image. Otherwise, how could he calm him down? Fortunately, he could teleport, otherwise he would lose face. After vomiting for a while, almost vomiting out the bitter gall, Chen Bei finally felt better. Well, now I've vomited it all, just in time to get the business done. Chen Bei muttered. He couldn't vomit in vain. It was getting late. He walked out so openly and walked towards the camp of the mercenary kidnappers. Hey, where did you come from, kid? How can you get here? I'll give you 1 second to get out of here. He was discovered by the patrol after walking 2 steps, just because Chen Bei could only teleport within the 1 kilometer range of the thunder and lightning field. Bang. The only answer he got was a finger-long arc of electricity. This time Chen Bei learned his lesson and didn't make it so bloody so that he could show his civilization. He is not a barbarian. The unlucky kidnapper just received his lunchbox. Chen Bei rummaged through his pockets, took out a bottle of water and gulped down a mouthful of water. Snore, snore, puff. Refreshing. The odor was gone and he felt refreshed. Chen Bei felt like he was fully revived. Crack, crack, crack. At this time, before Chen Bei could wash his face again, he found himself surrounded by a group of kidnappers. Bang, bang, bang. These guys were not polite. They just opened fire without even saying a word to Chen Bei. Damn it. Movies are really all lies. The moment he heard the sound of bullets being loaded, Chen Bei entered the lightning state, and all the bullets were instantly missed. How could Chen Bei be beaten for nothing? He immediately fought back. 100,000 volts. Chen Bei in lightning form instantly condensed a long lightning whip and whipped the nearby mercenaries fiercely. How could these mortals resist such an indiscriminate whipping? Bang, bang, bang. Thomas whipped the whip 360 degrees, and dozens of mercenaries were blown up in a flash. This time it was cleaner, with only a pile of slag and ash left. Well, this is much more civilized. Chen Bei clapped his hands, very satisfied with his masterpiece. If these people knew about it, they would definitely say, "Thank you so much for making us disappear into ashes." Chapter 5, Holding the Universe in Hands and Stepping on the Sea of Stars. The roar of the battle here naturally alarmed everyone, and the mercenaries rushed over with their weapons. Tony and Ethan also poked their heads out of the cave and observed quietly. They knew that no one would save them except Chen Bei. In a flash, Chen Bei had surrounded all the mercenaries again. Looking at the rows of white, black, and grey ghosts with live ammunition in front of him, Chen Zi laughed carelessly. "Hey, you devils, you are surrounded by me now. If you don't surrender quickly, I can still leave you a whole body." Tony and Ethan covered their heads and almost fell down. "Brother, are you a little too high profile?" Chen Bei's remarks directly angered everyone, and the mercenaries' faces flushed. The leader Os West was so angry that his nostrils were steaming. "Fire! Fire! Shoot him into a sieve!" Click. The mercenaries pulled the bolts and fired a burst of gunfire. After a round of shooting, they found that Chen Bei was standing there unscathed. "Damn it." Os West cursed inwardly. His heart fell to the bottom. The palms of his hands and feet began to sweat, and the cold sweat dripping from his forehead had already dripped. All the mercenaries also widened their eyes. Their hands and feet trembled, and they couldn't hold their guns steadily, and began to tremble. "Mutate. Mutate. Mutate." I don't know who spoke first. This voice was like a fuse, and everyone had to face the fact that they didn't want to believe in front of them. In their hearts, mutants represent strength and can slaughter ordinary people like them at will. The scene was like a domino, and the psychological defenses of all the people collapsed directly. Since you didn't want the chance, don't blame me for being rude." Chen Bei smiled slightly, and his smile was playful. He suddenly changed, transformed into a lightning form, and slowly rose into the air. The mercenaries stared at Chen Bei in amazement as he turned into a human-shaped lightning, and lightning flashed around him, and everyone looked at him in horror. Those flying lightnings could turn everyone into ashes in an instant. They didn't think of running away. They were just mortals. Who could outrun lightning? They could only stand there blankly, waiting for the judgment of the thunder god with ashes in their faces, and their eyes were full of despair. At this moment, the wind and clouds suddenly changed, and the dark clouds were dense. The whole sky was completely turned upside down like the night, and the whole scene was the end of the desert. The dark clouds pressed down on the city and wanted to destroy it, and the armor shone towards the sun with golden scales. The only light between heaven and earth was Chen Bei in the sky. Chen Bei's eyes were sharp, and he shouted coldly, "Millions of volts. 10,000 thunders are coming." For a while, the thunder clouds in the sky sounded, and countless lightnings were born from the thunder clouds, and then fell to the earth. In the desperate eyes of all the mercenaries, the lightning came with a force that was faster than thunder. The end of the world has begun. Their lives have come to an end. Boom boom boom. Suddenly, only wisps of black smoke and bursts of roaring were left between heaven and earth. When the thunder and lightning passed, there was only charred black charcoal and black sandy land. This time Chen Bei felt comfortable because he couldn't see any blood anyway, and he didn't have to worry about vomiting again. In order to prevent any escape fish from shooting and doing dirty things, Chen Bei used the electromagnetic force field again to feel it, and it turned out that in addition to Tony and Ethan, there were 7 or 8 mice hiding in the dark. Haha, they are hiding deep enough. Several lightning bolts instantly shot out from his fingertips, killing several people hiding under the car, in the tent, and in the armory. "Come out, Tony." Chen Bei called out to Tony and the other two who were stunned, and only then awakened the two people who were in a daze. The two looked around, carefully paying attention to the black charcoal on the ground, and came to Chen Bei with a look of shock. "Are all these mutants as awesome as you?" Tony stuttered and looked at Chen Bei, asking in disbelief. Yeah, this is so cool, just as powerful as the legendary gods." Ethan next to him also echoed loudly like a chicken pecking at rice, dancing excitedly. Chen Bei shook his head and said lightly, "You think too much. Most of the mutants are not strong, and there are only a few dozen strong ones. Most other mutants have poor abilities, not much stronger than ordinary people, and can be easily knocked down with a pistol." Tony and the others thought so. If anyone could be so ridiculously strong, mutants would not have disappeared for so long, with only reports every half a year or a few years. If they were also strong, they would have ruled the new world long ago. Then which group of mutants can you rank as the strongest? Tony was very curious. After this kidnapping, this guy was probably awakened and began to slowly change his mentality. "No, I'm not a mutant, but in everyone's eyes, I also belong to the non-human camp. If you want to talk about how strong I'm now, I can be considered a second-tier mutant." Chen Bei thought about it and said it conservatively. He was only talking about him now. In a few years, he will be invincible. Who dares to say no? Second tier. How strong is the first tier? Tony opened his mouth and could swallow an egg. He couldn't imagine that someone as strong as Chen Bei could only be called the second tier. Chen Bei looked at Tony, who was doubting his life and was hesitant, and said softly, "Those strongest mutants, the whole universe is spinning in their hands, holding the sun, moon, and stars in their hands, and stepping on the vast starry sky. You." Tony and Ethan were struck by lightning and stood there. They were speechless for a long time. They couldn't digest it at all, and they couldn't believe what Chen Bei said at all. After a long time, Tony let out a long sigh. "Just keep lying to me. I don't believe a single punctuation mark in your words." "Haha, really?" Chen Bei shrugged, not caring at all. He knew Tony's character. After this incident, he would be prepared, even if there was only a 1 in 10,000 chance. System, settle the reward. Tony went to contact the US military, so he would naturally not be idle. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the purple mission of saving Tony and destroying the mercenaries. The host is rewarded with a purple fishing rod. Ding, congratulations to the host for completing the white mission of saving Ethan. The host is rewarded with a white fishing rod. The system is still very fast. In Chen Bei's opinion, this is a system with all the heavens and worlds as processors. That efficiency. Looking at the 2 fishing rods lying in the system space, Chen Bei naturally would not leave them to mold. It is better to use this thing as soon as possible. His first priority is to constantly improve his strength. This world has already opened the curtain, that is, the world of great struggle in online novels, TV dramas and movies. He threw the fishing rod and threw it into the fish pond fiercely and then began to fish with the white fishing rod, followed by the purple one. Well, this is a mat. Do you know the pad? Those who have played with poisonous milk powder know that the probability of cheating people is so high that the 99.99% success rate needs to be padded. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning a medium-sized supermarket. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning 20 Super Soldier Serums. Chapter 6. You have Super Soldier Serum. A cushion is a cushion. It is totally worth it to add 20 tubes of Super Soldier Serum to a supermarket. Chen Bei took out a tube of Super Soldier Serum and looked at it carefully. He knew that these few tubes of blue serum were quite useful. They created Captain America Steve Rogers, and a legendary figure was born, running through the entire Marvel Cinematic Universe. It is undeniable that it was only the director of the movie who had the final say. The power and speed of just 10 times the limit of ordinary people could fight with Thanos. No, with everyone. This forced 50-50 attribute is a bit nonsense, but in any case, the Super Soldier Serum is really good. Why is it good? Don't look at the effect is not very good. That is not very good for people at Chen Bei's level. It is the kind of icing on the cake, but for ordinary people, it is a world-shaking change. The most important thing is that the Super Soldier Serum can be mass-produced. As long as it is mass produced, there will be huge benefits in it, which can create huge wealth and make countless people flatter. Chen Bei played with the Super Soldier Serum, and one thought after another flashed through his mind. As a high-level educated youth, he knew how to get greater benefits. The military, the consortium, the parliament, and other groups that could bring him huge benefits flashed through his mind. But he quickly rejected them one by one. He now had great power, but not enough social status. He couldn't threaten them with force when negotiating with them, right? After thinking about it, he decided not to rush at the moment. He should wait until he developed his power and others came to him. At this time, Tony had finished his call. He had successfully contacted Colonel Rhodes, the black man in the movie. Rhodes immediately began to locate the satellite phone after learning about Tony's news and flew directly over with a helicopter. Tony had been missing for too long, and everyone who had a relationship with him was extremely anxious. In public, their military was extremely anxious. If Tony died, it would be a huge loss for future weapons research and development. In private, they had a very good personal relationship. As a good friend of Tony Stark, how could he not worry? The stock price of Stark Industries was almost hitting the limit every day. Now their stock price was only 1/3 of the peak period. It was even more terrible than being cut in half. Now, after hearing Tony's news, this guy was so excited that he almost cried. It's not easy. It's too difficult. Come on. Come on. Quickly locate the location of this satellite, and we will go there immediately. Yes, sir. Rhodes couldn't wait any longer. Tony here saw Chen Bei playing with something in the camp, and couldn't help but be curious. This test tube was obviously a medicine. He didn't know where Chen Bei got it from. Anyway, this guy was mysterious, and he didn't find anything strange about him. What is that in your hand? Did you find it in this base? Tony said as he stretched his head over to take a closer look. The more he looked at it, the more strange it became. He also felt that this thing had an inexplicable familiar feeling, as if he had seen it somewhere. Tony lowered his head and pondered for a while, and suddenly his eyes lit up. I remember, this is the Super Soldier Serum, which my old man and Dr. Erskine developed back then. At this time, his eyes were dazzling, and he looked at the Super Soldier Serum in Chen Bei's hand with more and more burning heat. He swallowed his saliva, rubbed his hands, and wished he could take it for himself and study it carefully. This. Tony looked at Chen Bei awkwardly, feeling a little embarrassed, but eager to get it. Don't be so this or that, you want it, right? Chen Bei glanced at him with a smile, as if looking at a huge fat sheep. This weird look scared Tony. Isn't his intention too obvious? But in the face of such a huge temptation, who can stay awake? Tony is no exception. He simply let go. If you want it, you name a price. Tony waved his hand, saying that he is a local tyrant, not much of anything but a lot of money. Welcome to rip me off. But Chen Bei was not moved at all. He naturally looked down on this little profit, and Tony couldn't afford the price he asked for. So he shook his head decisively. Tony, you know the hidden value behind this serum. It's a goose that lays golden eggs, and there are hundreds and thousands of golden gooses. Don't even mention how much money Stark Industries can offer. Even if you sell your Stark Industries, it's not worth its value. Don't think I'm young and want to fool me. With this serum in your hands, you can definitely reverse the formula based on the notes left by your father, right? Chen Bei's words made Tony smile awkwardly. He pretended to be a big fat sheep and asked Chen Bei to name a price, and his goal was this Super Soldier Serum. He thought that Chen Bei was young and a guy who loved money, and he would definitely not be able to control himself when encountering such a thing. Unexpectedly, he made a mistake and underestimated Chen Bei's business acumen. Chen Bei changed the subject and looked at Tony teasingly. Of course, if you use it yourself, I can sell you a few new serums in the future, and you can slowly crack it. I think you will wait. After all, the Super Soldier Serum can make your body stronger. You are getting older and older now, so you must have been unable to do it, right? After saying that, he glanced at Tony's body, and the meaning of ridicule was self-evident. You. Who said that? I'm as strong as an ox, and those sweethearts were completely submissive to me and cried for their parents. Tony was furious when he heard it. This is slander. Blatant slander. He is slandering me. I will sue you. Haha. Chen Zi gave him a disdainful roll of the eyes, knowing what to do. Tony was furious, but he couldn't beat him. So angry. Let's not argue with people without quality. Let's ignore him. And Chen Bei also found a place to close his eyes and rest, familiarizing himself with the new perfect thunder fruit power in his body. On the Sky Island in the world of pirates, Enelu roared to the sky. Who is it? Who is it? He actually stole my baby. Boom. Exclamation mark. A bolt of lightning descended from nowhere. Ah. I didn't mean to do that. In a certain Marvel parallel universe, Erskine checked the Super Soldier Serum again, and a fishing rod appeared in the void, and then a black hole appeared, sweeping away all the Super Soldier Serum. Ah. My serum. Serum. Erskine wailed, and then fell down with a bang. The time it took for Steve in that world to become a super soldier was greatly extended. In the world where Chen Bei was, a certain businessman also wailed because his supermarket was swallowed by an inexplicable black hole. It was like going back to the time before liberation overnight. The initiator of all this really had no idea, he really didn't know, but even if he knew, Chen Bei would not feel the slightest bit of guilt. This was not done by anyone, it was all the fault of the system. Chapter 7, Hamburger for $1 million, Coke for $500,000. Tony scratched his head and thought hard, and from time to time he secretly glanced in the direction of Chen Bei. His intention was obvious, that is, how to get a super soldier serum. This is a real golden flock. Once he can mass produce this thing, he can immediately use this serum to slowly cut leaks. The richest man in the world, isn't it a matter of minutes? Time passed slowly in such a weird situation. An hour later, 4 or 5 armed helicopters roared in. When he saw the camp below, Rhodes jumped up with excitement. Ha ha ha. Found it. Found it. It turned out to be hidden in such a deep desert. No wonder Tony's location can't be found. Everyone, prepare to land. Tony said it's okay. Rhodes' subordinates began to land with confidence. They were all ready for battle. When the helicopter slowly landed, the huge wind brought up the yellow sand all over the sky, and the huge roar also woke up Chen Bei and Tony. Haha. Here. Saved. Tony temporarily put aside his little thoughts in his heart and quickly cheered and rushed to the big grey plane outside. Haha. Rod. Here. I'm here. Haha. Hamburger. I'm here. Cute. Tony didn't know where he got the strength from and rushed to Rod with small steps to give him a warm bear hug. Rod was also very excited and patted Tony's back hard, which made him anxious to death. Tears were streaming down his face, and he was so excited. Tony, you bastard are really lucky. How many people can't sleep all night for you? I asked you to bring more bodyguards, but you refused to listen. Let's see if you will be honest in the future. Rod patted him, while complaining about his arrogance, which made him worried for many days. Hey, I'm back. Tony smiled embarrassedly. After this life and death journey, he has become much more honest. His life is precious. Isn't the greatest sorrow in this life that people die and the money is not spent? Come, let me introduce you. After Tony calmed down, he pulled Rod to Chen Bei and Ethan. This is Ethan, my savior. If he hadn't used an electromagnetic device to absorb the shrapnel in my heart, I would have gone to see Satan long ago. Hello, thank you for saving Tony. If you have anything to say, just ask me, and don't be polite. Rod held Ethan's hand and said with gratitude, Rod, this is Chen Bei, a Chinese, and also my savior. If he hadn't killed these people, I don't know when I could escape. Tony pointed at Chen Bei and said. Rod was stunned and looked at Chen Bei with wide eyes. Although he hadn't looked at this base carefully, there must be about 100 people, right? He alone. This? Don't believe it? But that's the fact. Seeing that he didn't believe it, Tony shrugged his shoulders, with an expression on his face that said I didn't believe it either, but there was nothing he could do. Seeing his friend say this, Rod was stunned. This body didn't look like a super soldier. Could it be? Mr. Chen, you are a real genius. Thank you for saving Tony, this bastard. We should get together more often in the future. Sure. Chen Bei nodded slightly. Rod was a good person. He could be used as a middleman for future business with the military. Okay, stop chatting. Let's go. I can't wait. Staying in this unlucky place for one more second is a torture for me. Seeing that they were still talking, Tony quickly dragged them onto the helicopter. What a lousy place. A lousy place. Exclamation mark. Haha. Let's go. Tony hates this place. Rod smiled heartily and followed Tony. They finally got on the helicopter and slowly took off and left. On the helicopter, Tony asked for a few large buckets of water to help himself and Ethan clean up simply and walked out refreshed. Well, it feels good. I haven't showered for almost 2 months. Fuck. These damn guys didn't even let us shower. At this moment, Tony looked brand new. When he walked out, he didn't forget to curse the kidnappers for being shameless. When everyone heard this, their mouths twitched. You are a prisoner, okay? Why are you taking a shower? Oh, it would be even better if there was a bottle of ice cola and a cheeseburger. Haha. Tony pouted. I want to eat 10 of them when I go back. At this moment, Chen Bei took out a bottle of ice cola from somewhere and drank it directly. He took a sip of cola and a bite of burger. He took a bite of burger and a sip of cola, and he felt so comfortable. What doesn't the supermarket sell? The system space is a static time, so there is no expiration. This scene made Tony greedy and scared others. The helicopter shook violently, and the pilot quickly pulled up the fuselage. He was terrified. Similarly, Rode and the others were also dumbfounded. They don't understand. Is this magic or magic? Where did he get these things from? They were puzzled. Chen Bei's mystery was aggravated in their hearts. This man must not be provoked. Is this the mysterious East? A place with gods? Sure enough, there are too many big figures coming from there. Tony doesn't care about these. Chen Bei can even get the treasure that disappeared in history, such as the Super Soldier Serum. What kind of broken thing is this hamburger and cola? Fuck. I knew you had everything. You didn't let me eat fruits before, and now you seduce me with hamburgers and cola. Tony seemed to have suffered a great injustice. He pointed at Chen Bei and scolded him for not being a good friend. We are friends who share life and death and adversity. You are too stingy. You don't even share food. Chen Bei took a big bite and said with a sound of tsk. You want to eat? You can. Well, cheeseburgers, $1 million each. I'll make the Coke cheaper, $500,000. After Chen Bei finished speaking, he didn't even look at Tony's reaction. He ate leisurely and contentedly. He knew Tony would definitely take the bait. For Tony, spending $1 million is as simple as spending $100 for ordinary people. After eating steamed buns for several months, will ordinary people spend $100 to buy their favorite Rauji ammo? The answer is obvious, of course. Look, Tony immediately forced the king to possess him. 2 bottles of ice cola, 6 hamburgers, thank you. Isn't it just $1 million? Just a little bit. Tony Stark is not short of money. Chen Bei was happy. A rich man is a rich man. He can't be too black, right? $1 million for a hamburger is reasonable. Who makes him an honest young man? Okay, I'll give you a discount. Now you owe me $110 million. Chen Bei smiled and took out the hamburger and cola. Tony gave half to Ethan. Good brothers naturally share the hardship and happiness together. Only Ethan's mouth twitched. Can this account be calculated like this? It's clearly slaughtered. Suddenly, Tony reacted. His hunger and cravings were relieved, and his IQ took over again. Fuck. How can you discount 7 million to 10 million? Is there anyone more evil than you? I don't care. 2 more bottles of Coke and 4 hamburgers. Damn. This guy's too evil. Tony is evil enough, and there are even eviler than him. What's going on? Black eats black. As an honest young man, Chen Bei still gave him some money. Who told me to do things honestly? If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 8 Marvel heads to the unknown. In March, people don't know the taste of meat. This cheeseburger almost moved Tony to tears. What the hell, it's so delicious. He ate several cheeseburgers in a hurry and burped after eating and didn't forget to suck his fingers. You are so tasteless. Seeing Tony so rude and starving, Chen Bei couldn't help but look down and raised his middle finger. It was shameful. Tony didn't care at all. He was satisfied and gulped down his ice cola. He was happy like a god. He just looked up and glanced at Chen Bei. You are a full man who doesn't know the hunger of a hungry man. We have nothing in common. Okay, where did you learn these Chinese idioms? Chen Bei was quite surprised. How could this guy have such idioms? Haha, there is a thing called online novels now. Don't you read online novels? Tony said contemptuously. Well, Chen Bei has learned a lesson. Chinese online novels have really been exported abroad as a culture. Countless foreigners were eagerly waiting for the website translation every day. In order to read the novel, some of them practiced Chinese hard, just to avoid waiting for the translation, and to better understand the meaning of the various mysterious words in it. I didn't expect that the culture that went abroad was actually online novels. The helicopter was still very fast. An hour later, they landed at a military airport in Afghanistan. Chen Bei also studied the use of this Super Soldier Serum again during this hour. Using this thing requires a lot of electricity to provide the irradiation supplement of life rays. Anyway, Chen Bei didn't know what these scientific rays were, and he couldn't understand it at all. But he knew that he had the ability of the thunder fruit. This guy could revive his heart and revive it. He was not afraid of any accidents at all. Insufficient energy. After the helicopter landed, under the strong apology of the local military, Tony forgave them with great kindness and directly declined their hospitality. He was eager to go home now, so how could he have the mind to accept their hospitality? He knew that this was a premeditated kidnapping. Too many people knew his whereabouts. Who in the whole United States didn't know his whereabouts? But who harmed him? He thought hard, but couldn't think of who would do this. Who has such great power? He had to go back and investigate it, otherwise he would be unable to sleep or eat. At the airport, when Tony was about to board the plane, Ethan suddenly stopped him. I'm sorry, Tony, I can't go back with you. I want to build my hometown better, and what I have learned can benefit them. Tony was stunned. He was going to take Ethan away from the war and enjoy a peaceful world, and he could repay him for saving his life. You? At this time, Tony saw the firmness in Ethan's eyes when he talked about his hometown, but he didn't know how to speak. Did he want him to stay away from his hometown? Betray his beliefs? He really couldn't do it. Tony turned his head and quietly signaled Chen Bei, who had the most ideas, to help him come up with an idea. Seeing Tony's wink, Chen Bei smiled and said, Ethan's idea is right. Studying hard is not to get rid of the poverty of his hometown, but to change the poverty of his hometown. I think Ethan is right. Ethan, you are a responsible man. I admire you. You. Tony was speechless. I asked you to persuade him. What's wrong? Why are you singing against me? Chen Bei smiled heartily and continued, don't worry, Tony. You can give Ethan a sum of money when you go back, so that he can use it as his startup capital to change his hometown. In this way, Ethan doesn't have to leave his hometown, and you have also repaid his life-saving grace in disguise. Isn't it the best of both worlds? After speaking, he looked at the two of them again. Tony and the others thought that Chen Bei's suggestion made sense, and then they all agreed. You are right, let's do it. Tony nodded and hugged Ethan fiercely again. Brother, wait for me. I will get things done for you when I go back. You must come to America to find me in the future. Ethan, who was also reluctant, nodded fiercely with tears in his eyes. Don't worry, Tony. I'll go see you after I'm settled. You must take me out to have fun. I've never seen the neon lights of a big city like New York. Ethan joked, trying to downplay the pain of parting, but Ethan had been sharing joys and sorrows for almost 2 months, and encouraged each other to live well. They had established a deep friendship. Now that they were about to part, they were about to go their separate ways, and they were even more reluctant to leave. The pain of parting has been unsolved for thousands of years, and no one has solved it. After a long time, Chen Bei stepped forward to separate the two sad people. The moon waxes and wanes, and people have joys and sorrows. I have to say goodbye to you after sending you thousands of miles away. It's not like you won't be able to meet again in the future. The short separation is for a better meeting. Let's go. Don't cry like a woman. Hey, you are men. Be strong. Chen Bei's translation of this sentence was too difficult. This English vocabulary could not translate the beautiful, elegant, and profound classical poems at all, but fortunately, both of them were highly intelligent and could understand. After wiping away tears, the two finally waved goodbye, and the plane took off into the clouds, flying towards the future. The curtain of the Marvel world has finally been lifted, and the era of Iron Man is about to come. But now that Chen Bei has appeared, where will the future go? This Marvel universe has gone off track, and is heading towards an unknown direction. Chapter 9 Love You 3000 times. New York. The plane did not go to Los Angeles this time. Tony went directly to the headquarters in New York. As for the news of his return, it had already been passed back to China through roads, making all the stockholders burst into tears of joy. Tony, you are finally back. You are still alive. It's great. When the news came, Stark Industries stock price rose by the limit, which was the first big rise after more than a month of depression. It is conceivable that good news for a listed company is the driving force of the stock price. A little bit of negative news will directly cause a stock price to fall by the limit. At the New York International Airport, the news media who heard the news were waiting here early, and they wished that Tony could teleport. Fortunately, the news was released half a day after boarding the plane. Otherwise these news media people who flocked to the plane would be exhausted. After waiting for a long time, Tony Stark's plane finally arrived, and everyone was instantly resurrected on the spot, as if they had been injected with chicken blood, and their status was directly pulled to the maximum. Of course, they couldn't see Tony at the first time. The first wave of people to see were naturally Abadia Stan, Pepper and his driver Hogan, and the fat director made a cameo appearance. The moment he saw Tony, Abadia Stan's eyes flashed with a hint of sinisterness and confusion. Tony shouldn't be here. Although the 10 rings were treacherous and didn't kill Tony directly according to their agreement, they shouldn't let Tony run away, right? There must be something wrong. The key is that the top leaders of the 10 rings don't know what's going on. All the people are dead. No information has been passed out. But he immediately put on a smiling face, laughed and opened his arms to Tony, and the two hugged each other tightly. Abadia Stan patted Tony's back heavily, acting very excited, as if nothing had happened. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. You don't know, we at Stark Industries can't do without you. Abadia Stan said it sincerely, and Tony was moved. This is his good uncle. After the two hugged, Pepper Pot brushed directly to Tony and threw himself into his arms, hugging each other tightly. Tony, you are finally back. I think about you day and night and go to church every day to pray for your safe return. God really heard my prayers and brought you back. Dear, thank you. It is your sincerity that moved God, so I can return safely. You are my good wife. Dear. The two of them showed their affection here, as if no one was around, and talked to each other from the bottom of their hearts. It was enough. Aha. Chen Bei couldn't stand it anymore. Isn't it enough for you two to say a few words? What's the point of saying so much? Chen Bei's hum attracted everyone's attention, and woke up the two people who were immersed in love. Seeing that Chen Bei was dissatisfied, Tony smiled triumphantly. How much did he suffer? And he actually won in this aspect. Cool. So cool. It was even better than eating ice cream in the dog days of summer. He finally made this guy unhappy, and he felt particularly happy. Ahem. Tony was secretly happy, but he coughed dryly to hide his excitement. He looked at everyone and introduced them. Let me introduce my savior to everyone, Chen Bei. He is the good brother from China next to me. He saved me in distress. If it weren't for him, would I be able to come back alive? In the future, as long as I have a bite to eat, I will never let my brother go hungry. Welcome everyone. Wow. After Tony finished speaking, dozens of people present applauded vigorously. This was the first thing the boss did when he came back. Who dared not to give face? And the young man in front of them was really powerful. He was able to save the boss from so many kidnappers. Wouldn't he be able to take off directly in the future? Since he was their boss's savior and a big celebrity in the boss's eyes, they must give him enough face. Now only two people had some wonderful expressions. Abadia Stan's eyes turned cold, and a gloomy flash suddenly flashed across his face. It turned out that this kid ruined his good thing. You actually managed to save Tony. You seem to be quite capable, but how many assassinations can you avoid, no matter how powerful you are? That's right, Afghanistan has decided to kill Chen Bei. If he ruins his good deeds, this world will not tolerate him. Pepper looked at Chen Bei with her beautiful eyes. Is this thin body really that strong? He looks like a college student, right? It seems that you really can't judge a person by his appearance. Maybe someone who looks weak and powerless can kill you. She was very grateful to Chen Bei for saving Tony, so her eyes were full of gratitude. Thank you for saving Tony. I will definitely treat you well tonight. Pepper stepped forward and shook hands with Chen Bei gently to express her gratitude. Thank you. When I saw you, I knew that your daughter really looks like you. Unlike Tony, this bastard, who has an extremely bad personality. Chen Bei said, while looking at Pepper with a smile on his face. The girl who sang I love you 3,000 times inherited Pepper's genes. Haha. Pepper was amused. Sir, you are such a joker. We haven't gotten married yet, so where does a daughter come from? But how do you know our child is a girl? Peepo covered her mouth and laughed. She didn't believe it at all. How could this guy be like Tony, who likes to fool people? Chen Bei said mysteriously, hey, I saw it. It's up to you, whether you believe it or not. Tony on the side curled his lips. This guy is fooling people again. How could he get married? Besides, you are not ashamed to say that I have a bad personality. Compared with yours, my personality is as pure as a blank sheet of paper. He stepped forward and pulled Peepo away, whispering, don't listen to this strange guy's tricks. His heart is too dark. Then Tony told Chen Bei how he didn't give him fruit to eat, blackmailed him for $100 million and sold him a hamburger worth a few dollars for $1 million. He was just short of making up his sad experience into an autobiography of suffering with tears and snot. He was miserable. Peepo secretly glanced at Chen Bei. This sunny and handsome boy didn't look like him. Tony must be making up lies to deceive her again. This bastard's character of making up nicknames for people has not changed at all. Okay, Peepo nodded seriously, but he really didn't believe a single punctuation mark in his heart. If Tony had the ability to read minds, he would definitely vomit 3 liters of blood. This guy's appearance is too deceptive. Any woman would probably be fooled by him. The crowd began to walk out along the VIP channel. Since they had notified the reporters in the media, they naturally couldn't let them down. After all kinds of good news must be spread through the mouths of these guys, so that their own stocks can continue to soar. Soon, in the airport lobby, Tony and others slowly appeared, after being called for a long time. For a while, long guns and short guns were aimed at them, and the shutters could not stop clicking at all. The flash almost blinded their eyes. Chapter 10 Injection of Super Soldier Serum. Each reporter stretched his neck and stood on tiptoe, wishing his legs could grow another 10 centimeters taller. They raised their microphones high and pointed at the group of people who just came out. Hello, Mr. Stark. I heard that you were kidnapped. How much ransom did the kidnappers ask for to release you? Mr. Stark, what do you think of this kidnapping incident? Did you offend someone, or did someone get jealous? Hello, Mr. Stark. Do you need to bring a large number of bodyguards to ensure your safety when you go out in the future? Yes. What measures will you take for the continuous plunge in Stark Industries stocks? All the questions were thrown one by one. Anyway, they were probably curious about what happened to Tony in the past and what he would do in the future. They all wanted first-hand information. As long as they had first-hand information, they could be ahead of their peers and sell newspapers. These days, Tony has supported many people in the news industry. Those tabloids only need to follow Tony and take some gossip to support the tabloids. Today Tony Stark had dinner with a certain star and brought him back to his villa. Yesterday he held a party with a certain top draft pick. Anyway, as long as it is news about Tony, people will talk about it with relish, and it is all gossip after dinner. Of course, there are all kinds of envy and jealousy. Why is he not Tony Stark? He wants to kill him and replace him. Who is the most popular in the United States? Not a star, but Tony Stark, the scandalous president. Looking at so many cameras and guns, Tony is calm and composed, smiling at everyone. He has long been accustomed to it. These are all small scenes. He is a natural news headline, a super public figure. This kind of limelight is what he loves to do the most. So facing these reporters, Tony cleared his throat proudly. "Hey, media friends, I'm still very honored that you welcome me so much. Welcome your ass, isn't it just for that little bit of change? First of all, I want to say that I was not kidnapped, but was secretly researching something that would benefit mankind. You can wait and see. Regarding the stock plunge of Stark Industries, I think as long as I come back, nothing will be a problem. I, Tony Stark, am the confidence of the market and stockholders. Well, thank you all for the last minute. I have been busy for so long, and I have to go back and rest." After that, regardless of the journalists who were still not satisfied, a group of bodyguards set up a human wall to escort Tony Chen Bei and his men away. The reporters who were unwilling to give up behind them could not break through the wall of the burly bodyguards. This kind of arrogance is very Tony. Damn it, I was tricked by this guy again. Everyone thought angrily. The villa area of Long Island, New York, is the most luxurious, the most scenic, the richest, and the safest villa area in New York. The famous Tony Stark must live here, which is more expensive than that Marbury. The luxurious motorcade, one after another, with the logo of Stark Industries on the body, slowly crossed Clyn Avenue and entered Long Island. Passers-by looked at the fleet of Rolls Royces and drooled with envy. Tony Stark is really back. At this moment, only Chen Bei, Pepper and Tony were left in Tony's villa. Afghanistan left early, under the pretext of dealing with the group's affairs and Tony's press conference. He was very careful, so Tony naturally didn't know that Afghanistan was busy contacting the 10 Rings to conduct a field investigation. He wanted to find out how Tony came back and who the Chinese man with him was. "Hey, Chen Bei, you stay here first. There are plenty of rooms anyway, just pick any one you want." Tony pointed to his own house and said generously, "Now it's his home court, it feels so good." Chen Bei didn't care. "I'm a low-key person. Being modest, low-key, and cautious is the fine tradition of us Chinese people. Just pick a room upstairs, and he doesn't care about the others." Chen Bei washed up in his room, picked up some clothes from the supermarket and went downstairs, but there was no one downstairs. However, Chen Bei also guessed it, and the voices of yes and good could be heard faintly from upstairs. Well, these two men and women who love food and drink can't wait to roll in broad daylight, which is really their culture. Chen Bei shook his head. "This Tony, no, the whole of America has the same taste. They like women with freckles on their faces." Chen Bei said that he really couldn't appreciate it. "Jarvis, where are Tony's luxury car keys?" Chen Bei seemed to be talking to the air, but in fact he was talking to his super assistant Jarvis. "Mr. Chen Bei, the keys are all hanging on the door of the underground garage. You can choose them yourself." Jarvis's mechanical voice came immediately. It has to be said that this artificial intelligence thing is really useful. As for why Jarvis answered all the questions, it was naturally the authority set by Tony. Tony set Chen Bei with a third level authority. Jarvis would obey general instructions. Naturally, he was the only one who had the first level command, and Pepper was the only one who had the second level command. There were quite a few who had the third level command. After Chen Bei arrived at the garage, he randomly picked a Ferrari Supercar F8. The streamlined body, the flashy red paint, and the cool big rear wing made Chen Bei very satisfied. In the past, he couldn't afford such a supercar, and he could only look at it online and satisfy his eyes. Now he can experience it in person, which feels quite comfortable. Thanks to that woman. Thank her for kicking him into the Marvel world. Otherwise, how could he have a chance? Money, power, strength, beauty. He has it all at his fingertips. Supercars are really something you have when you are born. If you want to rely on your own efforts, that's really a bit difficult. Chen Bei, who has never driven a supercar, started very slowly. He was afraid that he would rush out with a little throttle. Slowly feel the low roar of the beast, feel the power of this 8-cylinder performance beast, and feel the sound waves. Buzz, 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 exclamation mark. If there are only 3 sounds in this world that can excite men, the meowing of women and the roar of guns, then this is the only one left. Gradually, Chen Bei understood the performance of this supercar and began to slowly step on the accelerator, slowly accelerating until it was getting faster and faster. East Lake National Forest in Manhattan, New York, is really a sparsely populated suburban park. Apart from those who come out to hunt for food and who don't know if they are couples, there are not many people. Chen Bei drove deeper and deeper, and it became more and more remote. When he was sure that he was the only one, he stopped the car and went deep into the jungle. There should be no one here, Chen Bei muttered to himself as he looked at the lush trees around him. He was ready to inject the Super Soldier Serum. No matter how small a fly is, he is still flesh. His body is still quite weak now. How can he support his pure and flawless soul without a strong body? Question mark. Chapter 11 Please call me Lei Han. He considered that in the movie, Captain America Steve's injection of 6 Super Soldier Serums was already his limit, but it might not be. Because injecting Super Soldier Serum is to activate various dormant cells in his body, which requires a lot of energy. It can also be understood that Super Serum can activate the external expression of cells in the human body, allowing him to release some genes that were not originally expressed. It can also transcribe and translate super proteins, so that Captain America has changed from a weak chicken to a superhuman. As for the electrotherapy in the process, it is to give Captain America a snack, that is, to add energy to make him grow quickly. The rapid awakening of cells naturally requires powerful energy, and he naturally has no shortage of energy. How can ordinary electrical energy compare to the perfect thunder fruit? After taking out all the Super Soldier Serums from the system space and placing them neatly beside him, he asked, "System, according to your calculations, how much energy of Super Soldier Serum can I currently withstand?" Ding, replied to the host, "According to the current calculations of the system, the energy possessed by the host is purer than electrical energy. Your body has been transformed by the thunder fruit, and the cells have been activated one level ahead. According to the system calculations, the host can currently accept the energy of 16 Super Soldier Serums." The system also gave an answer quickly. The lightning of the thunder fruit had already electrified his cells, and they were already in a nourishing state. The electric shock method was really good. Chen Bei thought about it. In this case, let's start. He had no one to help with the injection, so he did it himself. He grabbed 4 serums at a time and injected them into the vein. After several times, all 16 serums were injected, and the transformation was more intense each time. The surging energy kept drilling into his cells. Every time a large number of cells were awakened, Chen Bei also clearly felt his muscles slowly bulging. At the same time, each cell was telling itself how hungry it was. Energy. Energy. We need energy. At this time, Chen Bei immediately summoned lightning to output pure energy to him infinitely to meet his needs. At this moment, all the cells in his body were cheering for this huge energy output. Eat. 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 Eat hard. Time passed bit by bit, and the dazzling light of lightning in the depths of the forest frightened the wild mandarin ducks lingering nearby, and ran away in panic. This wild battle can be fought at any time, but there is really only one life. After more than 10 minutes, his cells were full and did not need his energy output, and Chen Bei also knew that the transformation was over. He took out his clothes to change himself, and took out a mirror to look left and right. Well, the face is still the same, which is normal. Can the head change as well? Seeing that his handsome face had not changed, Chen Zi noticed the changes in his body. The muscles have increased a lot, at least 8 abdominal muscles, a lot of muscles on the arms, and more muscles on the legs. His own Chen Zhaobi, now called Chen Bei, has also increased a circle of muscle circumference. As for the length, if you give him a hint of color, it is at least 20 centimeters longer. Overall, Chen Bei was very satisfied with his changes. He didn't have much time to exercise when he was in school, but now he was freed from the hard work. System, my changes are not as drastic as Steve's. Chen Bei thought for a while and said, Steve in the movie changed from 1.6 meters to 1.9 meters in an instant. His height didn't change much. Host, isn't the restrained change here the change you want? The Super Soldier Serum is to improve some genes, and the changes are naturally different for each person. I wonder if you have any misunderstandings about the Super Soldier Serum. Erskine's original intention was to improve genes. After hearing the system's explanation, Chen Bei suddenly realized that he didn't need to change much, and the changes were what he needed. Putting aside the doubts in his heart, Chen Bei naturally wanted to try his new power. He clenched his fist and smashed it hard at a tree that was so thick that a person could hug it. With a bang, the towering tree collapsed and was broken from the bottom by Chen Bei's punch. Oh, not bad. Blowing air into his fist, Chen Bei smiled triumphantly. Very good. He was very satisfied with this strength and defense system. How much strength do I have now? It doesn't matter if there is no dynamometer. He has the system. The system quickly gave the answer. 10 tons. Looking at the system's answer, Chen Bei was not disappointed. Steve could only hold 2 tons of strength at most. Now he uses a better foundation, purer energy, and more serum, so it is not bad to be able to create 10 tons of strength. After all, this Super Soldier Serum is only the first generation of products, and then it will become a swan song and disappear in the long river of history. When he gets something from the technology side in the future, he can study it carefully. The second and third generations will definitely have better effects. Putting away the remaining Super Soldier Serum, Chen Bei walked out of here contentedly, and his goal was achieved. Where should I go? Chen Bei sat in the car, touched his chin, and said to himself. He didn't want to go back to Tony's Day. Wouldn't it make him jealous and itchy? He couldn't join. Forget it. Let's go around the city and find a place to taste some delicious food and have a drink. Chen Bei made up his mind and stepped on the accelerator, whizzing away, heading straight to the city of New York. Hell's Kitchen in Manhattan is quite famous as the center of crime in New York, which is almost the capital of crime in the Marvel universe. Hell's Kitchen has produced many criminals. Of course, with it come superheroes who punish criminals. Although there are only 8 small streets, the crime here is probably not comparable to 8 Satans. You are not safe walking on the streets of Hell's Kitchen even in broad daylight, because at any time a black friend with a hood may come to your side, hold a cold object against your lower back, and say to you, "Brother, lend me some money." Of course, along with the crime, there are also superheroes who maintain law and order. Here, you can see superheroes everywhere on the streets. Luke Cage, Iron Fist, White Tiger. And the person who comes to Hell's Kitchen must want to see the symbol of Hell's Kitchen, Daredevil. As for the purpose of Chen Bei's coming, it was not to see the evil here, nor to commit crimes, and certainly not to see a blind saint who still insisted on upholding justice. If for nothing else, he needed funds for activities. When he first arrived in New York, this damn Tony was only concerned about his own happiness and didn't even think of paying him. As an unconventional person who occasionally guest starred as a superhero, Chen Bei decided to temporarily maintain the law and order in New York. Don't thank him, because he is Lei Han. He will naturally pick a few victims at random. Oh no. The lucky one tonight. Chapter 12. Don't dare to shoot. What are you pointing at? Chen Bei parked his car in a parking lot far away and walked to Hell's Kitchen leisurely by himself. If such a nice car is parked here and smashed, it would be too painful. He hasn't driven enough. A street in Hell's Kitchen. Chen Bei doesn't know where it is exactly, but it doesn't matter. He is looking for a lucky person. Night falls, and darkness comes with it. Gangsters, hooligans, bandits and so on appear on the stage. Chen Bei, is here too. Before Chen Bei walked far, he felt the difference here. This is his paradise. He likes it here. In front of him, there are a few yellow-haired and red-haired guys fighting. These guys fight softly, not as fierce as before he crossed over. He fights for his life. He has no father to fight with, so he can only fight hard. A few colorful women cheered on the side, with lip studs on their mouths, and the non-mainstream atmosphere is extremely strong. It turns out that there are many shamed nobles in the United States at the same time. Mark, get him, poke his eyes. Bail engine, hit him hard with a brick. Where's a knife? Where's a knife? Where's your 2 knives? Cut at each other. Anyway, they all cheered for the non-mainstream gangsters they supported. For a while, whistles and cheers were loud. Chen Bei shook his head. This bunch of trash is really boring. He continued to wander around. These gangsters didn't have much to rob. No. Friendly negotiation. The previous scene was too common. This Hell's Kitchen was playing this scene everywhere. The main theme here is fighting, robbery and rape. Chen Bei, who continued to go deeper, also welcomed the first wave of lucky people a few minutes later. "Hey, that yellow-skinned boy, I'm talking to you. It looks like you're here for the first time. Today we will give you a social practice lesson." 7 or 8 white-skinned black guys with gold dog chains and small gold watches stopped Chen Bei with their heads shaking. Don't think about anything else, because Chen Bei's forehead is almost engraved with "I'm new here, welcome to rob." This gangster with some strength will choose to do a job. Are your gold dog chains and watches real? What is shocking is that the guy who is a fat sheep actually dared to ask them back. Is it going to be a thief eating a thief? Question mark? With a squint, the sloppy gangsters were a little speechless for a while. "You guys should not be so arrogant." The leading gangster laughed angrily and said arrogantly and disdainfully, "Of course this is true. Are you going to play a thief eating a thief? It's just that it agrees or not." After saying that, he took out a dagger and gestured up and down, and the threat was self-evident. "Are you sure it's true?" Chen Bei asked again. "Nonsense. Quickly take out all the valuables on your body, so that we brothers don't have to take them out. We are all rough people, and we don't have to be light." The leader snorted impatiently. "So annoying. What kind of person is this? Nagging endlessly. In that case, what is he waiting for? Let's open the shop." In a flash, Chen Bei appeared in front of the gangsters in a ghostly way, while everyone was dazzled. Snap. Chen Bei instantly grabbed the leading gangster's arm, and then with an elbow strike, the gangster leader's arm was broken immediately, and the dagger fell to the ground with a clang. Then there was a terrifying scream that resounded throughout the street. Pain, pain, pain. It hurt so much. The arm was broken at the joint just like that. No one could bear it. Seeing that the boss was directly useless, the other gangsters were all furious and rushed over waving daggers. When gangsters fight, they fight for momentum. What other moves do you expect them to have? Bullshit. There is only fierce fighting. Hey ha. Hey ha. This momentum is not bad. 7 or 8 fight 1, and the audience immediately boiled. Seeing the gangsters rushing forward, Chen Bei was not in a hurry, raised his weapon, and swept left and right. Ouch. Ouch. Ah. There were 3 more screams, 2 of which were from the thugs who were knocked away by Chen Bei, and the other one was naturally from the weapon in his hand. Seeing that the situation was not good, the other thugs quickly put away the daggers in their hands and directly pulled out their guns. A dagger may stab someone, but it may not cause death. The law can still find a way out for such a case. If someone is shot and killed, it is a felony and the life is over. Normally, they just use guns to scare people and give themselves courage, but now it is not possible. This idea is a bit difficult. They have to pull out the gun. When the people around saw that the gun was pulled out, the atmosphere was directly set off to the extreme. Cheers and whistles were heard incessantly. "Hey, boy, put down our boss, or I will kill you." The red-haired boy pointed at Chen Bei and said arrogantly. His voice and expression were fierce, but in fact he was scared to death. He would not shoot unless it was absolutely necessary. "Haha, red-haired monster, do you dare to shoot?" Chen Bei threw away the unconscious boss and approached the red-haired man who had drawn his gun. "You don't force me. I really can shoot." The red-haired monster held the gun tremblingly, and the cold sweat on his head was dripping down. He was very nervous. Shooting and killing people, he didn't dare to do that. He was just a small gangster at the bottom. Killing and arson were the games of small leaders. Coward. Waste. Chen Bei snorted disdainfully, grabbed his hand, put the gun to his head, and yelled, "Shoot, shoot." Ah. Woo woo woo. The red-haired man had collapsed. He was scared and cried. He really didn't dare. He felt so difficult. Waste. Chen Bei grabbed the gun. "Don't dare to shoot. Why do you hold the gun?" Beer. 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 Chen Bei shot left and right, slapping him hard. "If you don't dare to shoot, what are you pointing at?" Chen Bei said as he slapped him. He slapped him hard again. This was really heartbreaking. After 7 or 8 more slaps, the red-haired guy had already swelled up like a pig's head, and the surroundings had already become silent. Ruthless. They met a ruthless guy. Today, they were really in trouble, and they didn't dare to fart when they were beaten. The other gangsters were already shaking with fear, looking at Chen Bei in fear with sweat all over their heads, their eyes full of pleading. "Don't hit us. We were wrong. As for running, how dare they run? This ruthless guy was too fast. They were afraid that they would suffer a bigger beating if they ran away. They were already scared to death. Don't look at me like that. I'm actually a good person. Be good. Give me all the valuables and I'll let you go. After a while, Chen Bei, who was refreshed after beating people, showed a bright and sincere smile and looked at them, but in the eyes of the gangsters, he was a smiling tiger, and this smile was the smile of the devil in their eyes. The hooligans also nodded hurriedly and emptied themselves, including the unconscious ones, much cleaner than a dog licking them, without leaving a penny for themselves. Boss, can we go now? A green-haired turtle looked at Chen Bei with a shameless face and fawning, nodding, and bowing like his green-haired turtle character. Get lost. Chen Bei waved his hand and told them to get out quickly. They had already got the things, so why not keep them for dinner? The hooligans were as if they had been pardoned, but they still carried the unconscious boss and his companions with loyalty and staggered away. At this moment, a crisp Lee voice suddenly rang in Chen Bei's ears. Hey, ruthless man from the east, I'm optimistic about you. How about joining my team? Chapter 13, The Lolita Who Was Strangled by Fate. When Chen Bei heard the voice, what's the matter? Are all the Lolita nowadays going to join the underworld? The key is that the Lolita nowadays are so arrogant. I'm really interested, so why don't I do a reverse conquest? It seems like a good idea. He glanced in a certain direction in the air, and sure enough, he saw a little Lolita wearing an eye mask looking at his direction. Chen Bei took a look. Why does this Lolita look so familiar? It's just that it's been too long, and he can't remember her name. Hey, what's your name? Chen Bei adhered to the good style of asking questions when he didn't understand, and asked this unique Lolita curiously. Hey, I said you want to join my team, right? I can tell you my name. Listen carefully. My name is Mindy McCready. As long as you join my team, I guarantee you will have a good life in the future. The Lolita with the eye mask put her hands on her waist and said arrogantly. This arrogant tone almost made people laugh to death, but no one here dared to laugh at her. They knew that this boastful little girl was really capable. Killing people and dancing were her specialty. Unlike others, Chen Bei couldn't remember the kick-ass he had seen before, but now after being reminded by the little girl, he immediately remembered. Isn't this it girl Mindy? No wonder she looked familiar. The appearance of this little girl has captured a large number of fans, especially the clip of Big Daddy's death, which made people cry. Are you Mindy, not an imitator? Chen Bei asked again. Of course I'm Mindy, the real thing. Who dares to imitate me? Hit girl still nodded proudly. Who dares to imitate her? Don't want to get involved, right? Oh, well, from now on you are captured by me, which means I'm your boss. Do you hear me? When she was being arrogant, Chen Bei actually took a different approach and said as if it was a matter of course. What? Recruit me? Are you sure? Big brother. Hit girl Mindy had a black question mark on her face. What's going on? Did I have donkey hair in my ears? Of course, it's you. Chen Bei said again. This time it was clear, and everyone understood again. This guy's awesome. He actually wants to recruit the famous hit girl Mindy. Little lolly Mindy was like a kitten whose tail was stepped on, and she was furious. I'll fight you. You dare to say such arrogant words. I'm going to teach you a lesson today. The little Lolita was furious, and her hair stood up. She picked up her little fist and rushed up. She wanted to teach this arrogant guy a lesson, beat him black and blue, and then join her team obediently. Her weapon was temporarily abandoned by her, so she couldn't hack him to death. Seeing this, Chen Bei laughed, just in time. He also wanted her to give up. The little Lolita came up and threw a straight punch, hitting Chen Bei in the face. In Chen Bei's pupils, the little pink fist was getting closer and closer, getting bigger and bigger, and it was about to hit him. Closer! Closer! Hit it! Hit it! In the eyes of all the hooligans, the little fist had already hit Chen Bei's face, but the difference was 1,000 miles. He was not in a hurry. In the surprised eyes of everyone, he grabbed Hit Girl's little fist, and then stretched out his right palm to press against Hit Girl's little head. No matter how Hit Girl stretched her teeth and claws, punched and kicked, she couldn't reach Chen Bei's body. She couldn't hit him. Couldn't hit him. Alas, she just couldn't hit him. Are you angry? She directly suppressed this violent lolly with one hand. Hit girl was crazy. This guy was too hateful. Was he bullying her because her legs were short? This force was too great. She couldn't resist. She was so angry, so angry. If she had the chance, she would bite him to death and let him have a taste of what it felt like to be bitten to death. Of course, she really did it later. She practiced her biting skills hard, and Chen Bei would reward her with hundreds of millions every time. The gangsters were dumbfounded. Oh my god, this man is really powerful. Hit girl is completely unable to make any progress. How is this possible? This man doesn't look like a mutant with a mutated body? Ha ha ha. Good. Well done. That's right. That's right. Hit girl has hit a wall this time. Hurry up and disappear from Hell's Kitchen. These Nazi guys. This man has recruited her and will definitely take her away. Then won't we have one less Nazi person in the future? Great. The gangsters were shocked at first, and they all sighed at the powerful strength of Chen Bei, and then they were boiling. Every Evildoer will have his own evil. This murderous lolly is leaving, and their good days are over. Only this little girl would kill people at any time, and other Nazi guys would at most teach them a lesson, or send them to the police station. Chen Bei ignored this group of spectators, and looked at the little girl hit girl with a smile. Little girl, are you convinced? Do you want to recruit me? Convinced? I'm convinced by you. But people have to bow their heads under the eaves. What can she say? Hit girl's eyes rolled around, and her bright eyes were full of cunning. I'm convinced, boss, can you let me go? My head hurts a little bit, because of your grip. The best strategy is to run away. If you can't beat him, just surrender quickly, and then run away, when he is not paying attention. It's never too late for a little girl to take revenge. Really? Then I will let you go. Chen Bei smiled mysteriously, and let her go. As for the cunning in her eyes, how could he not know it? But what can you do? Can I not continue? If you dare to threaten me, don't even think about escaping from my palm. The little lolly who got her personal freedom directly moved away, as if she was afraid of Chen Bei, and then the next second, she ran away. Haha, I knew it. I'll let you run 99.99 meters first. Don't say I'm bullying you. Chen Bei laughed behind the little lolly and let her run away. The little lolly was also very slippery, and ran 100 meters away in a flash. She didn't forget to turn back and taunt Chen Bei. She turned around and made a face at Chen Bei and stuck out her tongue. Hehe. You are a fool with only power. You want to catch this lady? Maybe in the next life. You are so easy to fool. I guess there is no chance. Don't fall into my hands in the future. The little lolly raised her middle finger provocatively. This guy was probably itchy because he was showing off. Haha, really? Chen Bei smiled faintly and disappeared in an instant. Everyone was stunned. Is he a human or a ghost? How could he just disappear like that? Fuck. Mutant. It's over. The little lolly hit girl was horrified, and after a scream, she turned around and wanted to run. But she suddenly found that her legs were off the ground and someone was strangling her fate. Please, the new book is launched. Please give me some good reviews. Thank you. Chapter 14 I Can Make You Stronger. Chen Bei picked up the little girl and didn't care if her short legs kicked around. She couldn't kick him anyway. Hey, running? Keep running. Why don't you run? You're still making faces at me. Aren't you mocking me for having power in vain? The guy held the little girl and chattered proudly while patting her little butt. Well, although you are young, your well-trained body is quite strong. Just look at the feel of your hand. It's strong and very elastic, which makes people love it. Chen Bei was comfortable, but someone was very unhappy. You damn guy, this is a butt, not a pillow, okay? Do you know how to be gentle with women? Fuck you. Are you addicted to hitting me? I'll fight you. I'll bite you to death. Hit girl's teeth itched. She loudly scolded Chen Bei's shameless behavior, and when she saw that her words didn't work, she bit Chen Bei's arm. Hiss! Exclamation mark. Hit girl's little tooth almost popped out. She was in so much pain that tears came down. Fuck you. Are you a stone spirit? Woohoo. My tooth hurts so much. This shameless guy. Chen Bei chuckled. The tooth hasn't fallen out, right? In the future, you should consider whether you are the opponent or not. Seeing Hit Girl's tearful appearance, Chen Bei still helped her put it down. He couldn't hurt her. After Hit Girl landed, she staggered and almost sat on the ground. Fortunately, Chen Bei was quick to support her. Humph, shameless guy, you only know how to bully children. Hit Girl immediately looked at Chen Bei with contempt. This guy would not let go, even if he suffered a loss. Chen Bei raised his hand and pretended to spank her little butt. Hit Girl was so scared that she quickly blinked her cute and charming big eyes and looked at him. I was wrong. I won't talk anymore. TSK, be honest, or I'll punish you. Chen Bei snorted complacently, and Hit Girl nodded hurriedly like a chicken pecking at rice. Her rolling eyes told Chen Bei that this guy was simply unwilling to admit his mistakes, and he was determined to admit his mistakes, but he would not change. Hit Girl was busy trying to please Chen Bei and then looking for an opportunity to run away when he was not paying attention. But Chen Bei didn't care. Since I met her, don't even think about slipping away from my palm. Hit Girl hugged Chen Bei's arm flatteringly and said in a sweet voice, dear brother, what's your name? Chen Bei. Oh, brother Chen Bei, I'm so glad to know you. You are the strongest man I have ever seen. Hit Girl continued to act coquettishly with the intention of making you sweet to death. Yeah, thank you, I think so too. I didn't expect you to have such a good eye. Chen Bei agreed generously. Modesty? What is modesty? Hit Girl was full of black lines on her face. Aren't Chinese people modest and cautious? She just said whatever others said. What the hell is he? An atypical Chinese? Or is everything on the internet fake? A lie? Ahem. Brother, are you a mutant? You are so fast and so powerful. This time, Hit Girl looked at Chen Bei seriously, her eyes full of envy. No, but you can treat me as a mutant. Chen Zi did not comment. Mutant? He is not, but what difference does it make, whether he is a mutant or not? I guess everyone will classify him as a mutant. As long as he has superpowers, he is an alternative, and will be automatically isolated by ordinary people into the mutant camp. Alas, I wish I were like you, but unfortunately I'm just an ordinary person. No matter how much training I have, I'm still just an ordinary person. Hit Girl's tone was full of loneliness and loss. She was just an ordinary person anyway. She didn't care about other people's eyes. Mutants are so powerful, and strength is the foundation of everything. She envied Chen Bei for having superpowers, which made her powerless to resist easily. This is power. Sensing Hit Girl's loneliness, Chen Bei reached out and touched her little head to comfort her. At this time, Hit Girl was unusually quiet, like a poor little cat. He said softly, don't worry, there will be opportunities in the future. This world is not necessarily full of mutants. There are many incredible beings and infinite possibilities. Hit Girl was stunned, and then she understood that Chen Bei had something to say. You mean, human factors can also create various superpowers? Or is it equivalent to various mutations? Yes, everything is possible. Chen Bei nodded with certainty. Hit Girl asked again, that means, you yourself also got such a change in this way? Of course, you think it came out of thin air? I naturally became powerful by relying on things you don't understand. Chen Bei rubbed her little head and said with a smile, oh, then can I become as strong as you? What do I need to pay to get it? Hit Girl said excitedly, blinking her big eyes, looking at Chen Bei expectantly, quietly waiting for his answer. Chen Bei looked up and down, carefully examined her, and nodded secretly. Not bad. There is still a lot of room for improvement. Chen Bei knew that this Hit Girl was played by Chloe Grace Moretz, so her future must be more domineering than Chloe Grace Moretz. After all, Chloe Grace Moretz will grow up to be a beautiful girl with a beautiful face and sexy figure, so the murder weapon is naturally very broad. This is the Marvel world, and the figure and appearance will only get better and better. After all, you can be baptized by all kinds of powerful items in the future. I also need help. Seeing that Chen Bei was fine, I was amazed. Hit Girl was very nervous. Why does this guy feel like he wants to sell me for a good price? Oh my god. Help. Someone is trying to kidnap a lolly. She looked at Chen Bei fearfully and said weakly, don't look at me like that. Is it okay? Chen Bei touched his chin and said in a deep voice, "It's not that it's impossible, but the existence of such things is extremely precious, and it is naturally impossible to give them to others easily. If you want to use the things I give you to become more powerful, then you must follow me until death. You must do whatever I tell you to do. Once you dare to betray me, I can only take back everything I gave you. Since I can give it to you, I can naturally take it back. For example." As soon as the voice fell, Chen Bei condensed lightning in the void and threw it fiercely at a wall in the dark. Boom! Exclamation mark. In the horrified eyes of Hit Girl, the wall collapsed. This feels so strong. This casual attack is like a cannonball. Hit Girl then covered her mouth in surprise, saying with extremely envious eyes, "Haha, this is just a trivial trick, not worth mentioning. I have a stronger one here. Does someone want to feel it?" Chen Bei sneered and said lightly to the collapsed place in the distance, "Pa. Pa. Pa. What a master. Sir, you are also the strongest man I have ever seen." Hear his voice before seeing him. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 15, $1 million. One question. Chen Bei looked in the direction of the voice, and a fierce beauty with long wine red hair walked out of the darkness. Her sexy body moved lightly, and she walked slowly to Chen Bei with a refreshing fragrance. Even though they were more than 2 meters apart, Chen Bei could still clearly feel the charm she exuded. Isn't this a way to make people fantasize and commit crimes? Beauty trap? A typical beauty trap, but it's a pity that it can fool others but not him. Is he the kind of superficial man who can't walk when he sees a beautiful woman? Chen Bei just looked at her quietly, admiring her beauty and her murder weapon. She is indeed a woman who makes people want to drink her bath water. Why is this gentleman so ungentlemanly? He keeps staring at my sister. Isn't this a bit bad? The person who came was naturally the famous Black Widow Natasha in the Marvel movie. What is a gentleman? Can it be eaten? How much is it per pound? Chen Bei looked around and made jokes. Anyway, he would not respond. Well, I'm very prepared for you to look at me like this. After all, I'm so sexy. Natasha lifted her hair and narcissistically threw a coquettish look at Chen Bei. Tactics. She's not that kind of person. As the two of them were flirting with each other and testing each other, Hit Girl quietly observed Natasha. She looked up and down, looked at Natasha's weapon, and gestured at her own wangzhe buns. She was suddenly crestfallen and felt terrible. Why is it so big? Oh my god. She felt that she had to use her 2 small hands to grab it. This would smother Chen Bei, the shameless guy, to death. This woman obviously came with a purpose. What if this shameless guy was not mentally firm and was dealt with? Then would he still give her the things that made him stronger? God knows how many good things like that there are. What if they are extremely rare? Then wouldn't she be finished? No. I have to do something to remedy it. For a moment, Hit Girl started brainstorming, thinking of something to do to remedy the situation, but she just couldn't think of it yet. Chen Bei didn't know what Hit Girl was thinking, so he was not in a hurry at the moment, and quietly waited for Natasha's performance. You came here uninvited. Shouldn't you introduce yourself first? Chen Bei smiled lightly. His expression was indifferent, but he was laughing secretly in his heart. That's right. Natasha thought for a moment and continued. My name is Natalie Hepburn, an agent of the Fib. Our boss is still very curious about your sudden appearance, because you really appeared out of thin air. We have investigated all the information in the world and compared your face recognition, but we still have no results. So, our boss sent me here. I have no ill will towards you. I just want to find out some basic information from you. However, my interest in you has become very big now. I didn't expect that you are a mutant with a mutated body and superpowers. This result is beyond my expectation. Natasha talked nonsense seriously, fabricated information, and fooled Chen Bei, who seemed to be a rookie. Little did she know that she had been exposed a long time ago. Chen Bei pretended to be confused and watched her performance quietly to see what tricks she could come up with. I'm a professional. I must not laugh. Hold it in. Resisting his inner smile, Chen Bei pretended to be mysterious and whispered, I'll tell you why you can't find my information. Because I'm not from Earth at all. What? Not from Earth? Are you an alien? Of course Natasha didn't believe it, and her first reaction was to lie to her. Your aliens look exactly like the Chinese on Earth. You are just fooling a 3-year-old child. Natasha rolled her eyes at him charmingly and said, don't lie to me, okay? There are no aliens. Haha, I can't help you if you don't believe me. This is how it is these days. No one believes the truth. Chen Bei shook his head helplessly. No one believed him, this honest young man. Haha, I don't believe you. You are a bad guy. Sir, please help me. It's very hard to work overtime this night. Look, I have dark circles under my eyes. Look. As she spoke, she came close to Chen Bei's eyes, blinking her eyes, and almost stuck herself in. Chen Bei looked down at the trembling weapon, and couldn't help but worry. Where did you buy this dress? The quality is really good. It can withstand such a great tension without bursting. This button is really hard. It took it all. Humph, you, a woman of unknown origin, should put away your seductive tricks. I really don't know what you are proud of. Do you fib people rely on beauty to solve cases and get intelligence? Just as Chen Bei was studying the quality of the clothes, Hit Girl was unhappy. How could this woman be so shameless and have no sense of shame at all? Question mark? She was really angry to death. Is she really here to steal people? Ahem. Natasha almost choked to death. That little sister didn't do anything. Even Natasha's face was flushed with embarrassment. She forgot that there was a little cat next to her. She didn't do anything. Little sister? Little? This word stepped on Hit Girl's tail again. There is no harm without comparison. Little? You are little. Your whole family is little. Hit Girl jumped up, pointed at Natasha, and yelled at her. How could she tolerate this? The word little was a provocation to her. Natasha was depressed. How did she offend her? It was just calling her a little sister, wasn't she? Haha. Chen Bei beside her couldn't help laughing. He knew what the bad-tempered Hit Girl meant. What's wrong with her? Natasha saw Chen Bei laughing and couldn't help pointing at Hit Girl and asked. It's okay. Chen Bei waved his hand quickly. By the way, what do you want to ask? I can tell you something. By the way, can you help me get a driver's license and passport? Chen Bei made his own small request. It would be a waste if SHIELD didn't use it. We should make more use of it in the future. Of course, it's just a small matter. Natasha agreed without hesitation. Well, I can tell you some basic information. My name is Chen Bei. I'm from China, from a deep mountain forest. Of course you can't find any information about me, so you don't have to bother. Natasha understood after hearing this. No wonder they couldn't find any information. What else? Natasha couldn't help asking. This was too little. Just a name. You ask the rest and I'll answer. The price is not too expensive. $1 million per question. I promise to answer truthfully. Chen Bei looked at Natasha with a smile on his face. He was just short of the word swindler engraved on his forehead. Chapter 16 Secretly proud of black sauce eggs. Chen Bei was just throwing out a brick to attract Jade, deliberately throwing out a barb. Their shield is quite rich, and such a big dog is richer than Tony. How much money does this black salted egg Nick Fury have to build the aerospace carrier? How much money does he have to build secret bases all over the world? Where does all this money come from? It is the money of taxpayers all over the world that he has embezzled. Then these dirty money must be purified by him. Only if he becomes stronger won't he make a contribution to all mankind. Natasha was stunned. This guy was really rude. He asked for $1 million for a question. Is there anything wrong with this? Do you think we are fat sheep to slaughter? We are not money printing machines. Natasha was very indignant. Her salary was only $30,000 and she worked hard and risked her life to get it. This guy in front of her opened his mouth. Isn't this an insult to her hard work? So Natasha shook her head and refused without hesitation, both for the public and for her own benefit. No, it's too expensive. This is an exorbitant price. There is absolutely no sincerity. Is it expensive? This is fair and reasonable. I think I asked for too low a price. If you don't want to miss the biggest opportunity in your life, I don't care, because this is a good fortune for you. If you don't cherish it, I can't do anything about it. At this moment, Chen Bei is a charlatan, and he is fooling her. Anyway, he is fooling her, knocking her out, and getting her done. Okay, then, I'll ask for instructions. Natasha heard that it was so mysterious that she didn't dare to make a decision on her own. What this guy said was too scary. At this time, Chen Bei was calm and waited for Natasha, the black boss of SHIELD. Nick Fury's answer. He was not in a hurry. He knew Nick Fury, who was in the late stage of paranoia. It would rather kill 10,000 people by mistake than let one go. Hello, director, there is something you need to decide now. Even at the end of the night, Nick Fury was still working diligently. Natasha just dialed out, and the call was connected. Hello, what's the matter? A steady male voice came from the other end of the phone. It was Nick Fury. It's like this, director, the man who accompanied Tony and you asked me to investigate, he asked. Natasha quickly and concisely explained Chen Bei's background and the request just now. $1 million for a question? Why doesn't he rob? No. It's faster to rob a bank. Nick Fury exclaimed and almost fainted. Everyone in the world knows that Nick Fury is a stingy guy who doesn't spend a penny. He actually came up and killed him. This is to kill him. He didn't even think about it and wanted to refuse directly. He turned his head and thought about it and hesitated. Is it so simple? At this time, Natasha said something. Director, he is a mutant from another country. Don't you consider his purpose and secrets? Natasha now understood. Anyway, it was not her money. This black-hearted salted egg didn't know how much they deducted from their wages, but only gave them such a small salary. This time, Nick Fury must be made to bleed. Sure enough, as soon as these words came out, Nick Fury, who was in the late stage of paranoia, made a choice. Agent Natasha, agree to him. Nick Fury said in a deep voice. Understood. Natasha responded and looked at Chen Bei again. Our director agreed. Oh, normal, within my expectations. Chen Bei smiled slightly and said confidently. Do you know our director well? Natasha was a little suspicious, but she gave a fake name. Haha, of course. There are no secrets in this world in my eyes. Chen Bei raised his head slightly and said very pretentiously, feeling quite lonely at the top. Hit Girl and Natasha looked disgusted, their mouths twitching. You really put it on. Ahem. Let's talk business. Natasha coughed dryly, her expression slightly restrained. Okay, go ahead and ask. Chen Bei's face straightened, and he was overjoyed. It turns out that making money is so easy. In the micro headset on the other side, Nick Fury's face was very gloomy. He had to pinch his nose and accept being ripped off. Agent Natasha, ask him, since he and Tony appeared together, it must be him who saved Tony. Then who are the robbers who kidnapped Tony, and why? Okay. Natasha nodded and looked at Chen Bei. Our director asked me to ask you, who kidnapped Tony, and why did they kidnap him? Stop, these are two questions. Chen Bei quickly pointed out. Why didn't Nick Fury ask all the questions at once? Question mark? Then follow the two questions. Natasha replied. Probably Nick Fury also said it. For a black-hearted and thick-skinned person like him, being exposed is not embarrassing at all. He has practiced it a long time ago. Chen Bei nodded with satisfaction and said, the first question is that the people who kidnapped Tony are a terrorist organization called the Ten Rings Gang. As for where their headquarters is, no one knows. Their boss is called Mandarin. The second question is that the reason for kidnapping Tony is very simple. It is a struggle within Stark Industries. Afghanistan can't stand Tony's tyranny, and he wants to turn over and become the boss. Chen Bei quickly gave his answer. This is also something that everyone knows. There is no problem in using it to fool these natives, but it can't be considered fooling because it is just a fact. He is not afraid of any moths. He knows Tony. After Chen Bei finished speaking, Nick Fury fell into deep thought. This reason was really unexpected. They thought that the arrogant and domineering Tony had offended someone, but they never expected that the loyal ministers who followed their Stark family for decades would betray him. It is true that you cannot judge a person by appearance, and you cannot measure the depth of a sea by a bucket. You can only know a person's face, but not his heart. No one can imagine that the person he trusts the most will betray him. This news is simply earth-shattering. As for the 10 Rings gang mentioned by Chen Bei, they, SHIELD, naturally know about it. They have also dealt with this terrorist organization. It is very hidden, and generally no one knows about it. So when Chen Bei mentioned the 10 Rings gang, Nick Fury did not doubt what Chen Bei said at all. In this case, there is room for operation. Nick Fury in the office lowered his head and thought for a while, and suddenly smiled. Tony must like this news very much. I will sell these 2 pieces of news to Tony. Not to mention, being slaughtered for 2 million, even if it is 20 million, it is worth it. Favor. A huge favor. Isn't it the most cost-effective business in the world to exchange such a favor for just 2 million? Nick Fury was still gloomy a few seconds ago, but now it has turned from sunny to cloudy. Thank you. You idiot. You actually gave me such a big gift for 2 million. Is this really the case? I can't. P.S. Ahem. I received a dime worth of gifts in 2 days. Can I receive a few more cents? Chapter 17 System. Give me 10 fishing rods. Chen Bei had thought of this question a long time ago. He could vaguely guess what Nick Fury was thinking. He told him so openly because he was not afraid that he would tell Tony. Afghanistan and Tony were very close at the uncle level. Without certain evidence, he would not believe it. Nick Fury was so happy. Could he really find evidence to prove that it was all a badass conspiracy? Do you have any more questions? If not, I'll leave. Chen Bei looked at the silent Natasha and thought that they were reluctant to part with the money and were ready to leave. Wait, Natasha, ask him one last question. I always feel that he knows your information. He is so calm that we seem to be exposed. From the moment he made the request, he treated them calmly, as if he knew them well. This made Nick Fury, who was insecure and in the late stage of persecution paranoia, very uneasy. Hearing that her director had the same feeling, Natasha finally knew where her strange sense of familiarity came from. Before, she felt that the mysterious man in front of her knew them very well, and there was no secret at all. His words and actions showed that he was in control of everything. He was a god who was above everything else, and they were like transparent natives. This feeling was not good, very bad, and it made her feel a little creepy. He knew all the secrets of herself and others, and there were no secrets. This made her feel insecure. When Natasha heard the order, she immediately looked at Chen Bei cautiously and asked solemnly, "Do you know us very well?" "Oh, yes, you are not too stupid." Chen Bei smiled slightly, and it was time to fool people again. What was this little profit? You have to fish for big fish. This question and answer session was just an appetizer. Tell Nick Fury, are the Skrulls okay? Chen Bei smiled faintly. He knew that was enough. It doesn't matter how many words you say, as long as you can hit the target with one shot. What he didn't know was that the weight of these words was too heavy. With a click, Nick Fury, who was on the other end of the macro headset, was so shocked that the phone in his hand fell directly to the ground, and he seemed not to hear or feel it. The whole person was frightened by Chen Bei's words and slumped in the office chair. Director? Natasha didn't see Nick River move for a long time, so she immediately called him, but all she got was a busy tone. Nick Fury was brainstorming at the moment. He couldn't accept such information for a while. It was like a stone suddenly thrown into a calm lake. The ripples were even more circles, and it was difficult to calm down the violent fluctuations in his mood for a while. How is it possible? It shouldn't be. This can't be. It can't be. Why would he know such a secret event? This is simply a fantasy. Only a few people know about the incident more than 10 years ago, but it definitely doesn't include Chen Bei, who may be only 10 years old. Has our strategic bureau been infiltrated? But the participants in that incident have nothing to do with the current strategic bureau. Nick Fury stared at the ceiling with lifeless eyes, but he kept analyzing in his heart. This matter was too strange. He didn't know how to describe his mood at all. This lack of secrets made him extremely crazy. Accident. Something unexpected has happened that is beyond our control. Natasha, ask him how he knows about the Skrulls. Nick Fury asked in a very deep voice. At this moment, anyone could hear the uneasiness and solemnity in his voice. Natasha shuddered. She had never seen Nick Fury so solemn before. He was actually a little flustered. There was something wrong with that sentence just now. She stared at Chen Bei with a low voice. Our director asked you to ask how he knew about the Skrulls. She was also curious about who this Skrull was, which made them all so excited. Here it comes. Here it comes. This is the opportunity they were waiting for. It's time to trick them into not being able to find the North and create the image of a charlatan. Oh no, a prophet. Chen Bei cleared his throat, touched his chin, and said softly, because I'm a prophet, an omniscient prophet, there is nothing in the past and future that I don't know. In our China, there is a legend of Zhao Bagua, and I'm the only heir. Do you understand? Chen Bei's words were full of bewitching meanings. Natasha curled her lips and rolled her eyes at him, obviously not believing it. But Nick Fury hesitated. He knew that his secrets could not be known by outsiders, except for Captain Marvel Carol. No, he is the only one still on Earth. At this moment, Nick Fury's mind became active. It was a small matter that his secrets were discovered. This mysterious man knew so many secrets and was called a prophet, which was interesting. Gentlemen are about righteousness and villains are about profit. Isn't this the case in this world? No one does not betray their principles, but what they need is different. As long as the chips are there, anyone can betray themselves, betray the organization, etc. Chen Bei is so greedy for money, how can he control him? As long as you give money, give a lot, that's enough. If you encounter a problem that you can't solve, can't you just spend money to solve it? So, Nick Fury immediately said to Natasha, Agent Natasha, tell him that I believe it. I will contact him if I need it in the future, and the price is negotiable. Okay, director. Natasha felt that her director was really crazy, and he had too much money to spend, giving money to others. But what can she do? Who makes him the director? She turned around helplessly and congratulated Chen Bei. Congratulations. Nick Fury believed it and said that he will find you if he needs it in the future, and the price is negotiable. Thank you. I think we will be strategic partners. Chen Bei smiled slightly, but he was laughing in his heart. In the future, there will be one more dog-rich man for him to slaughter, and then multiply the price by 100 times to sell them the broken things he got. Wow. Ha ha ha. Cool. So cool. Chen Bei felt that it was not a dream for him to give him tens of billions of dollars with a starting capital of several million US dollars. Of course, this is to make a fortune without changing one's expression. He said calmly, in this case, transfer the 4 million US dollars just now to me. But I don't have a bank card, but I believe you must have a lot of bearer bank cards. Yes, I'll contact them. Natasha replied enviously. This guy earned her 10 years salary in just a few minutes. Is there any justice in the world? After waiting quietly for a while, Natasha handed Chen Bei a bank card with money in it. Look, the money is in place. You made so much money easily. You must treat me to a drink. Natasha put her hands on Chen Bei's shoulders and exhaled in a delicate voice. It seemed that she had to bleed a little. Chen Bei had already saluted slightly. However, with his tenacious will, he still planned to resist for a while. System, give me 10 white fishing rods and 1 blue fishing rod to test the water. Chapter 18. The fishing items are a bit special. Money makes you the boss, and the money in a man's pocket is their confidence. Chen Bei decisively spent 10 white fishing rods, and there was even a blue fishing rod. It's so generous even Brother Mark couldn't bear to part with it. He picked up the fishing rod and threw it into the small pond. Gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. 10 white fishing rods were thrown down like this. After a while, the fishing rod shook for a while and then sank dully. Chen Bei knew that he had caught it, so he picked up the fishing rods one by one to check. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning a handheld silk from Natasha. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning a 2021 Fruit mobile phone. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the Changwei emoticon package. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning the Keyboard Warrior keyboard. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning. Ding, congratulations to the host for winning a handheld ding pants from Natasha. Fuck the system. What kind of crap is this? I spent so much money to get this thing. Are you sure you didn't use my money to support some super rich mother system? Chen Bei almost exploded. That's it? That's it? Isn't this cheating him? Is it easy for him to make some money with hard work? Getting up early and going to bed late, working diligently, cheating and deceiving everything. After finally saving some money, he was cheated by the black-hearted system. Chen Bei's defense was immediately broken. He yelled at the system in his mind. System, why don't you come out and explain? Ding, replied to the host, this fishing depends entirely on the host's luck. Please don't impose your own character problems on the system. The host caught the perfect thunder fruit before, which was just the host's luck, and it doesn't mean that the host is grateful to the system. The system came up and said a lot to him, which made Chen Bei very angry and speechless. You. Chen Bei glared at him, but the system was an invisible existence and could not be seen at all. And reminding the host, is it really useless? The system reminds the host to make good use of everything, which is to adhere to the principle of turning waste into treasure. For example, the mobile phone in 2021 can be sold to a businessman like Tony. Even if it is sold to a fruit company, it is an epoch-making existence. The system's words are a reasonable reason, but this can't be a reason for you to cheat me of my hard-earned money. In this case, Chen Bei can only accept the mobile phone and Natasha's first-hand items with tears. At this moment, Natasha in the outside world suddenly felt the garden cool, and even felt a breeze rushing in. How come her pants are gone? Could it be? Question mark? Thinking of this, she pinched Chen Bei hatefully. Lying in his ear, she said coquettishly, bad guy, give my pants back to me quickly. It's a bit cold there, empty and insecure. I'll give it to you when I get home. Can Chen Bei recognize it? Question mark? I really didn't take it, I swear to God. Chen Bei cried out in injustice. It really wasn't him who took it. If you want to blame someone, blame that broken fish hook. You can hook anything else. Why so wretched? Bad guy, you still don't admit it? You are the only one who can do it here. I really don't feel safe. If you don't believe me, try it. Natasha blushed and said coquettishly, this guy's really daring to do it, but not to take responsibility. The two of them were so affectionate. Natasha was also wondering, what's wrong with her? How could she have such a good impression of such a man she just met for the first time? Try it? This shocked Chen Bei. Is it with your hands or your head? Are you going to test my length? I want to test your depth. Faced with such unreasonable requests, Chen Bei decisively chose to talk about it later. Ahem, Natasha, I really didn't take it. Besides, it doesn't matter whether I wear it or not. Anyway, no one knows except you. Chen Bei quickly stabilized his violently beating heart. He couldn't let down at the critical moment. At this moment, the blue fishing rod he had just cast moved. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining a box of T-virus serum. A blue light flashed, and he saw an extra safe in the system space. T-virus serum? Question mark? The restless anger just now disappeared instantly. My goodness. If one of these is broken, wouldn't the whole world be doomed? Do you want to break one for fun? I guess it won't work, right? There are too many big guys in this world, and this thing will probably be wiped out soon. Marvel Zombie Universe. Interesting. However, this thing has value, but it is really not high. Unless there is the original Red Queen, no one can really use the T-virus. Wait. This thing can be sold to Green Goblin, Nick Fury and other guys who are not afraid of death. It can definitely be sold for a good price, and it is a sky-high price. Sell it to them tomorrow. There are 30 T-virus serums in this box, and it will sell for at least 1 billion. So happy. 1 million for 1 billion. This deal is worth it. Chen Bei was so happy. It turns out that the business that makes money is being a profiteer. Isn't this the profiteer who travels back and forth in the novel about the end of the world? Is he also traveling back and forth between ancient and modern times to wrestle goods? It's just that the things he's wrestling are a bit more advanced. They are all items that only exist in the novels of the universe. Thinking about it, Chen Bei couldn't help laughing like a pig. Haha, I'm rich. I'm really going to be rich this time. Natasha was teasing Chen Bei. Why did this guy suddenly laugh out loud? How stupid he was. He was in a daze and dreaming. I really admire him. He even dreams about getting rich. How greedy he is. Hey, wake up. Wake up. Natasha shook his head hard and finally woke Chen Bei up. Sorry, I was distracted just now. Let's go to the bar and have a drink. I'll pay for tonight. Chen Bei waved his hand. On the left was a sexy beauty Natasha, and on the right was a cute lolly hit girl. He embraced the two and walked towards the bar outside Hell's Kitchen. The gangsters in the distance shed tears of envy. This guy is the winner in life. When can we reach such a level? On the way to the bar, Natasha was extremely reluctant and had no choice. She really didn't want to go. She started in a vacant position. Suddenly, while walking, Chen Bei quietly stuffed her pants into her hand. Natasha blushed slightly and took the pants without a sound. Then she stretched out her hand and pinched Chen Bei hard before she was relieved. Hiss. Chen Bei took a breath of cold air suddenly. This woman is too cruel. Do you really want to? Let it deal with you in the future. Natasha on the other side also muttered secretly. This rotten egg. And he said he didn't take it. Oh my god. How did he do that? I really didn't feel anything at all. Doesn't that mean I've been manipulated by him? Woo-oh. Woo-oh. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. If I don't give him a good beating today, I'll be really at a loss. Chapter 19 The Secret of Fishing. In a bar not far from Hell's Kitchen, Natasha had already changed her pants in the public toilet, and then she went in with peace of mind. This bar looked quite good, at least there were not many messy gangsters in it. Of course, the high price was the biggest reason that stopped those gangsters who didn't have 2 coins in their pockets. Because a small bottle of beer cost $5. This was the year of the financial crisis in 2008. Natasha took Chen Bei to such an expensive bar on the pretext of familiarity, and her purpose was self-evident. She wanted to rip him off. But Chen Bei didn't care. He was happy today, and he didn't feel bad about this little money. Beauty, give us 2 bottles of 96 proof vodka, 3 bottles of Louis XVI, and by the way, 6 bottles of 1996 Lafite. Natasha was really rude, and she shouted at the waiter as soon as she sat down. The waiter stared at her in a daze for a long time. Ma'am, are you sure? This is a lot of money. Our prices are very high. If people buy more wine, she will get more commission, but such a large amount of consumption, or a stranger, she really hesitated. If there is no money to pay, she will be in trouble. Are you afraid that we can't afford it? Natasha glanced at her. The waiter hurriedly explained. No, I'm afraid you can't drink it, so you need a little less. How dare she say that she can't afford it? If she offended some big shot, she would be in trouble. I know what you mean. He pays. Natasha pointed at Chen Bei, who was silent. Seeing this, Chen Bei took out the card and handed it to the waiter and smiled. Take it and swipe it. There is no password. The money should be enough. The waiter was overjoyed. He hurriedly bowed to apologize and then hurriedly left to swipe the card to get the wine. In a short while, the wine was ready. Natasha was born as a Russian agent, so drinking vodka was normal. In order to take care of Hit Girl, she ordered a few cocktails. Now only Chen Bei was accompanying her to drink such strong vodka. He had long been immune to alcohol after being strengthened by the Super Soldier Serum. Gulp, gulp. The two of them drank it like water. Everyone nearby swallowed hard. Shit. This is 96-degree vodka. Are these two people human? Do you have to be so cruel? Those young men and strong men who were planning to come up and chat up all stopped this time. I really don't dare to meet these two ruthless people. If I fail to chat up, I will be beaten up by them. Can someone who can drink so much be immortal? They don't want to die young. There are so many beauties. At this time, there was a guy who didn't believe in evil and went to the Tiger Mountain, even though he knew there was a tiger in the mountain. He also held a bottle of vodka and a cigar in his mouth and walked to Chen Bei and Natasha. Hey, beauty, you can drink quite well. How about we drink? The pretty boy next to you is just pretending to be calm. This guy's really unkind. While chatting up and bragging, he also didn't forget to step on Chen Bei and belittle him. Of course, Chen Bei couldn't stand it. Where did this idiot come from? Why does he look so familiar? He really looks like someone, and his behavior is almost the same. Before Chen Bei made any move, Natasha couldn't help laughing. This guy is too crazy. This smile is really as beautiful as a flower, which makes the bar bright. Haha, friend, are you sure you want to drink with me? Of course, who doesn't like a big beauty like you? The strong man shrugged, as a matter of course. Well, tell me first, what's your name? Victor. The strong man immediately said his name without any concealment. At this time, Natasha's face changed slightly. She remembered the information of this guy. He was a mutant saber-toothed tiger with super self-healing ability. This idiot was something. She quietly kicked Chen Bei, indicating whether he could deal with it. Chen Bei smiled at Natasha, obviously very confident, which made Natasha feel relieved. Chen Bei also remembered the name when he heard it. No wonder he looked very familiar. Isn't this the cuckold brother of the protagonist Logan, the saber-toothed tiger Victor? This guy is something. His self-healing ability is stronger than that of Wolverine Logan. In the early stage, Wolverine could not beat the saber-toothed tiger. It's just that Logan has the aura of the protagonist. After the injection of the original adamantium alloy, it actually combines with the self-healing factor to produce an adamantium alloy that cannot be copied at all. The saber-toothed tiger is completely no match. How can a fingernail be a match for the special adamantium alloy? Since Chen Bei is full of confidence, Natasha decided to tease this guy. Oh, I want to have a drink too, but my boyfriend doesn't agree. I'm so sorry. Natasha pretended to be scared and pointed at Chen Bei. Seeing this, saber-toothed tiger slapped the railing with a bang, which directly deformed the iron railing. He was very satisfied with the effect. He looked at Chen Bei with a grim smile. Hey, kid, do you see my power? Do you choose to get out of here or go out with me to practice? At this moment, it seemed that he had won. He looked down on such a pretty boy the most. They were all cowards who couldn't even take a slap. A real man like him was what women liked. Under his surprised expression, Chen Bei slowly stood up and glanced at him lightly. Let's go, let's practice. Oh, kid, you have guts. With your performance, I won't cripple you today. Haha. Saber-toothed tiger was stunned, then laughed, and followed Chen Bei out. For a while, everyone went out to join in the fun. The alley behind the bar was spacious enough for Chen Bei and Saber-tooth to arrive. At this moment, Chen Bei had an important experiment to do. Seeing Saber-tooth, he thought of the best candidate. System, items in this world can be fished, just like Natasha's underwear, so it stands to reason that abilities can also be fished, right? Chen Bei's words naturally had his own guesses. It was impossible not to be possible. Fishing was allowed in all the heavens and the worlds. It was not a joke. And the system also gave the answer. What the host said is of course possible. Chen Bei was delighted. It was indeed so. He quickly asked, then how do I fish for the abilities or items of the characters in this world? Host, as long as the other party does not resist, the fish hook will be hooked. Everything depends on luck. Maybe you are lucky and can fish for useful abilities or items. Of course, the higher the fishing rod, the easier it is to fish for good things. Chen Bei was still quite confident in his luck. He was the chosen one. System, can I get powerful abilities like Phoenix Force or Chaos Magic? Host, I think you should be more realistic for now. Don't think about these things before the system is upgraded. Chen Bei was not angry when he heard what the system said. If it doesn't work now, it will definitely work in the future. He is about to take off. Chapter 20 Fishing for the self-healing ability of the saber-toothed tiger. After the finalization, Chen Bei had his mind at ease. I have to say that this system is really powerful. He has his own unique understanding of the system's no resistance, which is to beat those who are unable to resist. Saber-toothed tiger stood there with ease and looked at Chen Bei with contempt. Boy, you go first. Don't blame me for not giving you a chance. If I go first, you won't have a chance. Although this guy's arrogant, Chen Bei will not take it lightly. After all, Saber-toothed tiger has lived for more than 100 years and is an old guy who has experienced many wars. It seems that there are many flaws, but these are all illusions. This guy's fighting level is quite high, which is much stronger than the fighting routines of untrained gangsters like Chen Bei. To deal with such a guy, you naturally have to expose some things to defeat him. At this moment, there are still a lot of onlookers. Chen Bei gestured to Natasha, and the latter nodded knowingly. The FIB is arresting criminals now, and all unrelated people should leave immediately. Natasha immediately took out a certificate and shouted to all the people who were watching. When the group of people saw it, they thought the plot was so familiar. Isn't it the same in the movies? Using the honey trap to lure out the criminals. Today I have seen it. Although they want to see it, they dare not confront the law enforcement department. In the United States, these agents are not responsible for killing people. Sabretooth was also stunned. What the hell? You are fishing for law enforcement. Didn't I just follow Magneto to do some small things that hurt the world? Why do you have to? Sabretooth's thought for a moment was that he was set up today. This was waiting for him. The first thought was to run away quickly. The wind was tight, and he was screaming. But as soon as he took a step, he stopped suddenly. Fuck, why should I run? There are only 2 people. Can they catch me? I have become timid recently. Sabretooth cursed inwardly, turned around immediately, and punched Chen Bei in the head. Seeing this, Chen Bei slightly sidestepped the sudden punch. Sabretooth Tiger was not an ordinary person, a mutant like a perpetual motion machine. But he was not afraid. He was immune to physical attacks, so he was naturally not afraid of such a tank. After dodging this punch, Chen Bei planned to have some fun. He wanted to learn some fighting experience, not the moves of gangsters. The two began to pull each other back and forth. Anyway, it was Sabretooth Tiger who attacked, and Chen Bei silently resisted. The enhanced brain slowly recorded Sabretooth Tiger's killing skills, and he needed to hone them slowly. Grabbing the wrist and sweeping the elbow, grabbing the wrist and smashing the elbow, holding the waist and smashing the head, holding the leg and kicking the crotch. Such insidious moves, killing moves were played by Sabretooth Tiger to perfection. They all had no fancy moves, not those gorgeous moves for performance, just killing people. No performance. Chen Bei also countered the moves and at the same time transformed into a lightning form. While being immune to attacks, he also made Sabretooth Tiger suffer a lot of electric shocks. Fuck. You are also a mutant, and a terrifying mutant of the lightning type. Sabretooth roared in fear, looking at Chen Bei with disbelief. Why? Why? We are compatriots. We are the real family. Why do you want to catch me? Sabretooth hated him. They are compatriots. Why did they help humans to catch him? Why did they help this group of ants? He couldn't figure it out, and was even more shocked and angry. The situation was very unfavorable. Another move to repel Chen Bei. The extremely fast Sabretooth was unyielding, swished close to him, and jumped sideways to kick towards Chen Bei. Chen Bei also raised his knees and fought him hard. The strength of the Sabretooth was at most 5 or 6 tons, not as much as him. After a blow, the Sabretooth retreated 5 steps, and Chen Bei also retreated 2 steps, but the difference was obvious. Sabretooth's eyes narrowed. This guy's strength is really stronger than his own. He remained calm. He actually underestimated him before. At this moment, he had already thought of retreating. He just wanted to slip away. Even if the person in front of him was a compatriot, he would catch him. Humph, you mutant scum, human running dog. I will let you go today, but Magneto will definitely clean up the mess. Just wait for death. Sabretooth had the idea of retreating, but he still had to be stubborn and say harsh words. What a fool who has lived for 100 years. Has he watched too many movies? As for the Magneto he mentioned, Chen Bei was not afraid. Leo Wang, a thorough racist, naturally did not take the lives of ordinary humans seriously, but would he be afraid? Using the biggest scene and taking the most vicious beating, isn't he talking about the scene man Magneto? Always caught, beaten. Chen Bei sneered and said, haha, Sabretooth Tiger, do you have no other words? Then I'll give you a ride. With a wild laugh, Chen Bei completely transformed into lightning, completely illuminating the world in the dark night. He became the only light in the dark night. At this moment, the silver snakes danced. The silver light was thousands of feet. The sizzling electric current matched the strong wind, and Chen Bei instantly reached the side of the saber-toothed tiger between the lightning and thunder. Fall for me. Chen Bei, holding the lightning spear in his hand, jumped high, directly with a 1,000,000-volt high voltage, and nailed the lightning spear hard into the body of the saber-toothed tiger, directly piercing his chest. Ah! The saber-toothed tiger was hit by such a powerful attack and roared with his head raised. It hurts. It hurts so much. This kind of pain was clearly transmitted to every pain nerve of his and fed back to the brain. The crazy self-healing factor was fully running or rushing to the severely injured heart position, and the lightning energy was fighting with the self-healing factor in the body of the saber-toothed tiger. The saber-toothed tiger, who was treated as a battlefield, fainted from the pain. The brain's protective mechanism was knocked out because he was stunned by the electric shock. Destroy. Repair. Destroy. Repair. A tug-of-war began. System. Exchange 3 white fishing rods and then exchange 1 blue fishing rod to try. System. What is my chance of success? Chen Bei asked immediately. Maybe it was very low. He could only give it a try. Reply to the host. There is only a 20% chance. 20% chance? Almost. Chen Bei could only choose to believe in his luck. Throwing up the fishing rod that no one else could see, Chen Bei directly used the white fishing rod mat. As expected, he only got his mobile phone, fingernails and a pair of stinky shoes, which were thrown away by Chen Bei. The last shot, 1 shot to the soul. Chen Bei shouted in his heart, 1 shot to the soul. This is the same as the enhancement of the poisonous milk powder. Success or failure depends entirely on shouting. Ding, congratulations to the host for obtaining the self-healing ability of the saber-toothed tiger. Do you want to implant the self-healing ability now? As if the sound of nature suddenly sounded, Chen Bei looked at the big icon in disbelief. It's done. It's really done. I actually did it with a 20% chance. Am I really the chosen one? The ecstatic Chen Bei shouted. Wait a minute. Now is not a good time. There is no rush to merge later. Now that I have the self-healing ability, my survival ability has been greatly improved. I'm not afraid of assassination, poisoning, or hard injuries. My lifespan has been greatly improved. Chapter 21. Fusion of self-healing ability. Thirsty Natasha. It turns out this is true. Chen Bei couldn't help but look at the stunned saber-toothed tiger with pity. This guy bumped into the muzzle of the gun himself, so he couldn't be blamed. No matter how unlucky you are, you can't blame the society. This is fate. I kicked this guy and knew that he was not dead. I was really embarrassed. My secret can't be exposed too early. Try to be low-key when your strength is not that strong. Chen Bei's ability to seize is enough to make everyone afraid of him and terrified of him. If there is a guy who can absorb other people's abilities at any time, wouldn't the whole world be in extreme unrest? Since there is such a person, all mutants will inevitably attack him to eliminate future troubles, and he, Chen Bei, will also become the world's public enemy. The stronger you are, the more dangerous you are. Your enemies will be wary of you, calculate you, and kill you because of your strength, because you are the sword of Damocles hanging over your head. Your friends will see that you are gradually becoming stronger and jealous of you, and will also find ways to kill you, because jealousy is the original sin. Chen Bei would naturally not put himself in danger. Sabretooth woke up and found that his mutant ability was gone. Anyone could guess that Chen Bei had taken away his self-healing ability. He slowly walked to the side of Sabretooth. The void lightning flashed. A lightsaber that swallowed and spit out lightning flashed, and a big brain flew out. This scene deeply shocked Natasha and Hit Girl. They couldn't imagine it at all. It was just a fight, so they wouldn't kill him directly. Even if the two of them were the kind of people who killed people like crazy, they were not as cruel as Chen Bei. But Chen Bei had killed hundreds of people and didn't care about these two lives at all. He was an outsider and didn't belong to this universe. If something went wrong, he might be exposed, such as the ancient one who controlled the time stone in this world. She checked the timeline from time to time to see if there were any unknown changes. Before he was strong enough to fight against the ancient one and others, he had to be cautious. Natasha's face turned pale, and she pointed at the headless saber-toothed tiger and said helplessly, "Why did you kill him? Although he deserves to die, we have to punish him." Chen Bei ignored Natasha's questioning, and of course would not tell her the reason. He said lightly, "I have my reasons for killing him. I'm not a righteous vigilante. I'm not bound by any constraints." Natasha sighed helplessly. "Okay, what are you going to do?" Chen Bei smiled mysteriously after hearing this. "It's in your hands. Just pretend you didn't see it. I'll take him away. He didn't want to blast this guy with lightning directly, as that would make a lot of noise. With a wave of his hand, he received this unlucky saber-toothed tiger into the system space. They were shocked again, staring at each other with wide eyes. This series of changes was too much to keep up with, and they couldn't ask. Chen Bei didn't care about them. He would just drive to some remote place and burn it down. Who would know the traces of his existence? There is no evidence to prove his wrongdoing. What can we do if we know what he did? The law will not care about the life and death of mutants. It depends on whether Magneto will avenge a dead person. Chen Bei knew that with Magneto's character, he would not offend an unknown enemy for Sabretooth, just like he abandoned Mystique without hesitation. This guy is a ruthless villain. For the future of mutants, he can abandon everything, including himself. Chen Bei seriously doubted that mutants had not made any major movements in all these years, except after the Cuban crisis. He guessed that this was probably the timeline after Days of Future Past. The Avengers timeline and the timeline after Days of Future Past merged. So just like in the movie, any major mutant events in the decades after Days of Future Past were erased, and everything was based on the Avengers timeline. Forget it. It's a headache. Without thinking about it anymore, Chen Bei and his friends returned to the bar to continue drinking. Everyone knew that the guy was finished. It was not until late at night that Chen Bei dragged Natasha and the tipsy hit girl away from here. In a daze, they found a hotel and stayed there. During this time, Hit Girl's phone kept ringing. Chen Bei knew that it was Big Daddy calling, so he just sent a message saying that he was asleep and turned off the phone. I'm thirsty. I want to drink water. Drink water. Natasha kept making a fuss. Her drinking habits were not good. Chen Bei was half asleep, and suddenly he felt that Chen Bei was also awakened, and the two looked at each other. The atmosphere was a little awkward for a while. The two looked at each other, not knowing what to say, and were stunned. Can you continue? Natasha said quietly with a blushing face. Do it yourself, and have enough food and clothing. Natasha's juicer will naturally not let Chen Bei idle. How many times must this soy milk be ground? The night outside is as cool as water, and the phoenix inside the house is singing without stopping, as hot as midsummer. She didn't care whether she was wearing clothes or not. She walked to the freezer and took a bottle of water and gulped it down. The wine she drank had long turned into running water. At this moment, she was extremely sober. She didn't cry or make a fuss like an ordinary woman. It seemed that she had done something wrong. She was very happy and satisfied. I'm going to take a shower. Let's go to other rooms later. Anyway, you booked a presidential suite, and this bedsheet can't be used. Natasha twisted her cat steps, leaving only a charming and beautiful figure for him. This feels good. Chen Bei couldn't help but smile at her back. System, help me integrate the self-healing ability of the saber-toothed tiger. Anyway, there was nothing to do now. I was enjoying myself just now. How could I remember this matter? I just remembered it now. Ding, the system begins to integrate the self-healing ability of the saber-toothed tiger for the host. Please wait for a moment. The integration process was surprisingly comfortable, and it felt more than 10 times more comfortable than just now. The cell genes in the whole body were cheering and celebrating this life leap. This feeling made Chen Bei completely immersed. This feeling is simply indescribable. It was just like a fairy. Ding, fusion is complete. Congratulations to the host for gaining the ability to heal itself. Chen Bei, who was in a comfortable trance, was awakened by the system. Is it done? Alas, this feeling is really unprecedentedly relaxed. Chen Bei sighed softly, feeling like some shackles were broken, and there was no restraint at all. Yes, the shackles were gone. Chen Bei suddenly realized that this feeling was the incomparable relief of breaking the shackles. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story, and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 22. Asking Tony for a debt. System, what's going on? Did I accidentally break the gene lock during the transmission? Free Beidou is here, so I have to make good use of it. The system quickly gave an answer. The system is indeed an all-powerful good servant. Oh no, a good partner. Host, that's not the case. Because the host wants to integrate various abilities, it has to change from the genetic level. Although the compatibility of human gene fragments will gradually become stronger, evolution based on instinct is extremely slow. 1 or 2 are fine, but once there are more, the gene fragments can't bear it at all. If you want to complete a journey that may take tens of thousands or millions of years in an instant, the host's body can't bear it at all. It is likely to collapse directly, but the integration of self-healing ability is equivalent to not having to worry about physical problems for the present or even for the next few years. When Chen Bei heard this, wow. He had hit it right by accident. Sure enough, a positive soul like him needs a strong body to support it. Okay, you can leave. I want to be quiet. Chen Bei waved his hand in his mind, like sending away a servant, and the system disappeared silently. Only it is like artificial intelligence, otherwise it would have exploded on the spot and died together with Chen Bei, the shameless guy. Where's my knife? Chen Bei stood up and looked for a knife everywhere. He finally found a fruit knife in a kitchenware section of his supermarket and then slashed his arm with a swishing sound. He slashed and healed at the same time. This efficiency has to be said to be too dedicated. The self-healing factor is awesome! Exclamation mark. This. Chen Bei was stunned. In the movie, when Deadpool fought the Wolverine brothers, he exchanged injuries for injuries and was completely invincible. He just simply thought that the instant healing was an exaggeration. Today, he never thought that the self-healing ability he had seized could really heal in seconds. At this time, Chen Bei had a bold idea. Why not chop off his head and try it? Question mark? No. He shook his head fiercely. The next second, Chen Bei fiercely extinguished his idea. He didn't think he could live without a head. This idea was too anti-human. Only a psychopath would do this. Putting away his knife, Chen Bei rushed to the bathroom with a smile as bright as a rose. A few hours later, the dewdrops on the glass disappeared. The next day, after the sun was high in the sky, Chen Bei slowly got up, and Natasha, who was seriously injured, was able to rest again. A day's plan begins in the morning, and life does not stop, and the fight does not stop. Mindy? Chen Bei, who had put on his clothes, called out to Mindy, but the girl did not answer him. Why did she disappear? He knocked on her door, but she did not respond. Chen Bei opened the door, and found that the girl was gone. She left a note on the bedside table. Brother, I'm leaving first. Dad is almost going crazy. I left first, because I was afraid he would go even crazier. I wanted to tell you something, but I didn't expect you to have sex with Natasha, that big wild cat. Really? That damn woman screamed like a pig being slaughtered last night. Is it really that good? It pissed me off. Can't you be quiet? I didn't sleep well all night. You were still like that this morning. Sooner or later you'll die. Young man, you have to learn to restrain yourself, okay? Finally, this is my number. Remember our agreement. After reading the resentment between the lines of the note, Chen Bei smiled knowingly. This girl is quite sensible. As for him being embarrassed? Please, is he such a person? Chen Bei put away the note and left another note for Natasha, telling her not to wander around after waking up and wait for him to come back. Okay, let's go. Make money. Chen Bei smiled slightly. When he thought about making money, he was full of motivation. He kissed Natasha's forehead and closed the door gently. He left quietly like that. What he didn't know was that the moment the door closed, Natasha suddenly opened her tired eyes, full of tenderness, and then fell asleep peacefully. Found his Ferrari. Tony's? Who is Tony? Can he hand it over to him? Is there such a thing in the world? The roar of the sports car instantly attracted the attention of a large number of people. Passers-by cast envious eyes and watched the flashy sports car flash by. Although there are no tariffs here, sports cars are cheap, but there are still very few people who can afford them. They don't have the habit of saving money, so how can they afford to buy them? A second-hand luxury car is not affordable, even if they save money. Fuck. Driving a Ferrari is amazing. The young men cursed with jealousy, while the young women were envious. The car culture in America is the best in the world. They love cars to an outrageous degree. They can live without a house, but not without a car. Looking at the Ferrari going away. Damn it. He pretended to be me again. Chen Bei drove Tony's Ferrari all the way to the headquarters building of Stark Industries and parked it arrogantly at the gate. As soon as they saw the license plate and the car, the security guards hurried forward and prepared to park the car for their boss, because such an arrogant style is very Tony. However, just as the security guards were about to open the car door, a young and handsome Oriental man walked out of the car. What? The security guards had black question marks on their faces. What is going on? Why can't we understand? The boss's car was stolen? Question mark? Sir, who are you? Why are you driving our boss's Ferrari? The security guards were a little confused for a while, and the crooked idea of stealing a car was immediately abandoned. Which car thief dares to be so arrogant? Who am I? I'm your boss's creditor. This kid dares to owe money and not pay it back. I'm here to collect the debt. Chen Bei deliberately snorted and said, looking like an unruly rich second generation. The busy Stark building is full of people coming and going, and they immediately talked about it when they heard it. What? Tony doesn't pay back the money he owes? Haha, this is big news. It's out. It's out. Boss Stark would owe money? It's fake. TSK, maybe Tony gambled with others as soon as he came back, and he lost his Ferrari. Suddenly, the situation changed suddenly, and the rumors became more and more outrageous. There were all kinds of rumors, such as Tony being chased for debts. Tony lost all his women in gambling, and finally had no choice but to mortgage his cars. The security guard couldn't do anything. This was going to cause trouble, and he quickly invited Chen Bei in. The situation outside was out of control. Suddenly someone shouted, "You've all been fooled. Isn't this guy the Oriental man who appeared next to Tony yesterday? He's obviously Tony's friend. Fuck. We were fooled by him and foolishly believed his lies. Shit. Orientals are too smart. They think they are smarter than us and treat us like big bears. Beat him. Beat him. Let him know the consequences of fooling us." There are still sober people. In an instant, when all the men wanted to seek revenge on Chen Bei, he had already run away. Chapter 23 The Invincible Law of True Fragrance. In Stark's office, Tony was fiddling with some model, staring at the computer very seriously, not moving. Suddenly, a knock on the door woke him up. Fuck. Who is it? Come in. Tony was so angry that he was just frowning, and his key thoughts were interrupted. Hey, are you angry? So angry? Chen Bei pushed the door open and said with a smile. He came here to do business today, so he should make money in harmony. Tony looked up and saw that it was Chen Bei. He put away the words he was going to scold him. He couldn't scold him. He would hit people. Exclamation mark. You didn't come back last night, and the results were very obvious. Tony blinked, raised his eyebrows, and showed an expression that all men understand. No, isn't it just a woman? Although she is a little beautiful and a little sexy, that's all. Except for being sexy, beautiful and having a good figure, there is really no advantage. Chen Bei's seemingly modest words were as versatile as they could be. Fuck, I've never seen such a shameless person. Tony curled his lips. It was really irritating. How could his personality be worse than his own? Then how can I, Tony Stark, survive in America in the future? Seeing Tony unhappy, Chen Bei was very happy. Sure enough, one's own happiness must be built on the pain of others. After despising Chen Bei, Tony stood up and gave him a bottle of Fat House Happy Water and said seriously, "What do you want from me?" He knew that Chen Bei would not come to him for nothing, and he knew the principle that no one would come to the temple for no reason. Of course I'm looking for you to collect debts, Chen Bei said with a smile. Stop, you can't be so bored. It's just a phone call. Tony shrugged, his face full of disbelief. Haha, I can't hide it from you, Tony. You are really a little genius. Chen Bei smiled and took out a good thing for him. What is this? The color is very similar to the Super Soldier Serum. It can't be its derivative? Tony looked at the unknown serum in front of him and asked doubtfully. Could it be that this guy has come to his senses? Want to cooperate with him? Tony's face lit up when he thought of this. There's a chance. This is called T-Virus Serum. This thing is much more powerful than Super Soldier Serum. It can improve the quality of the human body several times, and it can also awaken superpowers. Do you want it? Chen Bei exaggeratedly fooled Tony. His voice was very light, but it was particularly bewitching. Superpowers? Question mark? Superpowers? Question mark? Tony was deeply shocked by Chen Bei's words at this moment. This small potion can actually awaken superpowers. This is simply incredible. Is this biotechnology? It is an indisputable fact that everyone desires to have superpowers. Who doesn't have a middle school boyhood? No, it is that they will inadvertently fantasize about it at any time. Especially after seeing Chen Bei's amazing ability, Tony's desire for power reached the extreme. If there is a powerful force, will he let others slaughter him? That feeling of powerlessness almost made him crazy. He was afraid of the feeling of powerlessness, just like Tony's crazy research on equipment in the movie, especially after seeing those magical abilities. What anti-Hulk armor, anti-Magneto armor, anti-Phoenix armor, anti-Gallop armor. Although he was beaten by whoever he opposed, it can also be seen from the side that Tony was uneasy in his technological progress. Tony couldn't help his excitement and suddenly raised his head and asked in a trembling voice, "Are you serious?" His eyes were full of expectation, staring at Chen Bei. Facing Tony's gaze, Chen Bei shook his head and nodded. What does this mean? Shaking his head and nodding? Question mark? Tony was confused. At this time, Chen Bei said, this T-virus serum naturally has its shortcomings. The current success rate is only 1 in a million, and all others have failed. Failed? 1 in a million. Tony was shocked to hear these two pieces of information. This probability is equivalent to no chance at all. What about the consequences of failure? Tony was worried about the consequences. This serum must have problems. The consequence of failure is to turn into a zombie, and it can be contagious. After biting, you will also turn into a zombie. Chen Bei said heartlessly, as if gloating over the misfortune. Fuck. Injecting this stuff means death. No, it means turning into a zombie. There is absolutely no chance of success. Tony's good mood and excited heart were scared and ran away. Well, I'd better continue to study my iron armor. The success rate of this thing is 0, and I don't have such a life. The dream of Superman was shattered just like that, in pieces. Seeing that Tony backed off and had no interest, Chen Bei would not let such a big customer, no, a big customer, run away. He smiled and continued to deceive. Although its success rate is very low, there are several people whose gene sequences are the same, and they all succeeded. In the end, the parent company of the T-virus cloned on a large scale, making superpowered people all over the world. Why can't you research a T-virus that suits your genes? Is your reputation as a genius, Tony Stark, blown up by the outside world? Don't you have confidence in yourself? What? Exclamation mark. Someone succeeded? Chen Bei's words opened a crack in Tony's closed heart again, and the light of hope shone in again. He grabbed Chen Bei's arms and said in a deep voice, "Are you telling the truth? You didn't lie to me?" Such news was too scary, so he had to take it seriously. Chen Bei was very satisfied with Tony's reaction. He said firmly, "Of course it's true. How can I lie to you? If you die, how can I kill you in the future? Say oh, are you I? How can I cooperate with you for mutual benefit? Don't you think so, Mr. Tony Stark, the superhero Iron Man?" Inadvertently, Chen Bei said what was in his heart, and he was so scared that he quickly changed his words. Guilty. Guilty. TSK, you are a bad guy. Tony knew that, although Chen Bei was always trying to cheat him out of money, he still believed what Chen Bei said. If he died, who would he cheat? Besides, he would not inject himself before he succeeded. Thinking of this, Tony made up his mind. How much is this T-virus? Money? It's just a number to him. What Tony Stark lacks the least is money. He took the bait. Here it comes. Here it comes. Hey, it's not expensive. It's not expensive. It's only $100 million per stick. Chen Bei rubbed his hands and said very modestly, saying how honest and sincere he was. What the hell? It's so expensive. You sold me a failed experiment for $100 million. Do you think I'm a big shot? Tony was furious. I'm not a dog, and you're not a human. No, isn't it? Chen Bei asked back as a matter of course. His puzzled eyes made Tony doubt whether he was really a big shot. Puff. Seeing this, Tony was so angry that he vomited 3 liters of blood. I bought it. Give me 3. The way he gritted his teeth was so funny. Alas, it turns out that no one can escape the law of true fragrance of the famous Chinese philosopher. Chapter 24 Hulk bombs the street. Chen Bei's mask. Alas, this feeling is too good. 3 bottles of rubbish T-virus serum can be easily exchanged for 300 million. What a great deal. Chen Bei handed Tony 3 bottles of serum. Isn't it just 300 million? Soon there will be many suckers. Hey, be careful. If it leaks, we will all be finished. Seeing Chen Bei being so casual, Tony reminded him unhappily. He was very careful to receive it. This guy's too bold. If he plays like this, the earth will be destroyed by him sooner or later. Don't worry. If you die, you die. I won't die. This virus can't do anything to me. Chen Bei said loudly, which made Tony so angry that he was like a Buddha born, and 2 Buddhas ascended to heaven on the spot. Fuck it. What do you mean I die? I die. My life is so worthless. ? Tony felt that he and Chen Bei were often together, and he would live at least 10 years less. It's so fucking infuriating. At this time, Chen Bei said again, by the way, now you owe me a total of $410 million. Give me the money and transfer it to this card. Money. You know nothing about money. Hey, Pepper, come here and ask the finance department to prepare 410 million funds. Tony just wanted Chen Bei to take the money and leave quickly. Their magnetic fields were seriously incompatible, and they were in conflict. Pepper, as Tony's assistant, was naturally on standby in the next office. When she heard Tony's words, she came over immediately. Hi, Chen Bei, I haven't seen you for a night. You seem to have changed. Well, you are more manly. Pepper saw Chen Bei sitting on the sofa leisurely and looking at the scenery. As soon as she entered the door, she smiled and greeted him. Really, Pepper, you have a good eye. Chen Bei also smiled and replied, modest. Can you eat it? After greeting each other, Pepper looked at Tony. Tony, what do you want to talk to me about? You look bad. Are you okay? She just realized that Tony was confused. Was he excited or depressed? Anyway, she looked very confused. Oh, it's okay, Peepo. Ask the finance department to transfer 410 million to Chen Bei's card. Tony handed Peepo a card depressedly, and the latter nodded without asking any more questions. In the company, the boss is the boss and the employees are the employees. She would not interfere too much with the boss's decision. Soon, 410 million arrived. The speed of large companies transferring money is quite fast. Happy cooperation, Tony. After getting the money, Chen Bei said to Tony happily, you can't get along with anyone but money. Okay, happy cooperation. I hope I didn't fall for your trick. Tony said helplessly, who made him resist the huge temptation. There was nothing he could do. Take the money and leave. The first business is done. Let's go. If you need T-virus serum in the future, I will give you a 20% discount. Bye. Chen Bei whistled and left Tony's office proudly, because the second victim has been locked. Driving a flashy Ferrari, wandering on the streets of New York, feeling the exotic customs under the blue sky. He has never been to a foreign country, and this is his first visit to the most developed country on the planet. It's just that under the financial crisis, the streets are full of passers-by of all kinds and all kinds of homeless people. Alas, New York, the center of the universe, is just like this, full of poverty, hunger, and oppression. Looking at these mechanically numb passers-by, Chen Bei couldn't help but sigh. Bubbles are bubbles. Look at the east across the ocean. What can the world financial crisis do? There is almost no turmoil, except for black-hearted businessmen. The people have no impact at all, but it has stimulated domestic demand. Suddenly, a strong palpitation came suddenly. Chen Bei turned the steering wheel violently, stepped on the accelerator to the fuel tank, pulled the handbrake to step on the brake, and forced drift. Thanks to the enhancement of the Super Soldier Serum and the various sensory nerves with enhanced self-healing ability, in an impossible time, he dodged a shell falling from the sky and the exclamations of the crowd. Fuck. This is free America. Even in broad daylight, they can stage impromptu blockbuster performances. Chen Bei, who escaped the disaster, cursed. What a hell of a place. Ordinary people can burp in the blink of an eye. All kinds of man-made disasters came from the sky. There was no natural disaster at all. It was just all kinds of sudden and inexplicable aftermath of battles. What CCTV News said was right. Just look at New York and you will know that foreigners are really living a precarious and miserable life. Boom. 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 The vibration was as clear as an earthquake, and Chen Bei could clearly feel it while sitting in the car. Before he could figure out which wicked and smoking guy fired the shell just now, something unexpected happened to him. When he looked up, a big green guy was running wildly from a distance, followed closely by unknown military tanks and helicopters. And this guy was heading towards Chen Bei. What kind of luck is this? He can meet the Hulk while strolling around. Apart from anything else, this green big guy, the Marvel artifact Big Pants, is simply too dazzling. Chen Bei recognized it at a glance. And behind the green fat man is his good father-in-law, the green fat man's lifelong enemy General Ross. It's so unlucky to meet these two sand sculptures who like to jump around in the city. I don't know how much money this will waste. Chen Bei could only curse inwardly. This situation really caught him off guard. He could only leave here quickly. He didn't want to get involved in such boring things. Ding, the Invincible Hulk plot is detected. Please try to defeat the Hulk. The host will be rewarded with a purple fishing rod after completing the task. Oh my god. This time I have to pretend to be cool. The system gives me money again. No matter how small a fly is, it is still meat. Not to mention a purple fishing rod. Pick up a mask, put on a set of Heisei, and the temporary superhero Heisei man will appear on the stage. Men conquer banks with Heisei, women conquer men with Heisei, and today he will conquer the green fat man with Heisei. With a drift, he disappeared in the blink of an eye. He drove into a small alley and appeared again, already standing at the scene. Da da da. Boom. BIU. 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 The sound of submachine guns. The sound of Vulcan Gatling guns. The sound of missile bombings. At this moment, all passers-by fled in panic, wishing their parents had given them 2 less legs, and the screams were even louder. At this moment, Abomination has fought with the green fat man Hulk. Both of them are tank players. There is no fancy moves at all, and there is only the visual impact of punching to the flesh. This is a real man. If you hit my head, I will go up and slap you. If you hit my chest, I will hit your stomach. I will beat you to death, you bastard. Abomination is a monster of a normal person, and the green fat man Hulk is just a monster with the IQ of a 7 or 8-year-old child. Naturally, the green fat man is not as good as Abomination in military boxing, but Hulk lacks skills, but he makes up for it with strength. Chen Bei, wearing a haze mask, was not in a hurry. He sat carelessly on the broken car on the ruins, watching the battle between the two monsters. He was ready to attack. Everyone was shocked. He almost dropped his jaw, and quickly put his jaw back on. Fuck, where did this guy come from? Are all bank robbers so arrogant? Chapter 25, A Blinding Operation. Alas, I'm indeed the most dazzling kid in the universe. Shamelessly, Chen Bei was bragging about himself. As soon as he sat there, his sensitive nerves naturally noticed the attention of the crowd of spectators and the military a few hundred meters away. He automatically filtered out the lunatics and psychopaths in other people's mouths, and he felt too good about himself. At this moment, the battlefield was changing rapidly, and new changes soon occurred in the blink of an eye. As time went by, the green fat man soon gained a disadvantage. There were too many annoying flies in the military. The Vulcan Gatling gun on the helicopter spewed out flaming red fire snakes and hit the green fat man Hulk for free. Even if it did not cause any damage, it was always distracting. The green fat man Hulk was in a hurry to deal with the attacks of the Abomination, and was also affected by the military. The Abomination took the opportunity to punch and kick the Hulk. When the green fat man Hulk was distracted, the Abomination suddenly clenched his left fist and punched Hulk's head with a left straight punch. It was really cruel. If Hulk was hit on the head by these dozens of tons, he would also have a concussion. It was said that Hulk slightly turned sideways to avoid the fierce fist of the abomination, and at the same time grabbed the left hand of the abomination with his left hand, then took a small step back and pushed the ground with his right foot to stabilize his lower body. This set of reactions was really fast. Hulk's nerve reaction was really not low, but his fighting was really not as good as the abomination's experience of more than 10 years of hard work. When Hulk was about to bend his right arm to elbow the watermelon at the head of the abomination reacted quickly and stretched out his right hand to grab Hulk's right wrist. In an instant, all the strength was directly interrupted. The wrist was grabbed, and the power of the right fist could not be exerted at all. Seeing the opportunity, the abomination used the force to reverse the whole body. Thomas flew into the air, using Hulk's arms as support, and his legs were like cannons, kicking Hulk's chest hard. Boom! Exclamation mark. The huge muffled sound was heard from far away. Chen Bei was the closest, and heard it most clearly. Others could only hear something faintly, no matter how far away they were. Then he found that Hulk was screaming and flying backwards, but his hand was still held by the abomination. The abomination was naturally unforgiving. Hulk flew backwards, and he naturally flew out with him. He bent his right leg in the air and gave Hulk a brutal and powerful knee strike in the chest. Bang! Exclamation mark. These two unexpected attacks directly knocked Hulk to the ground. He twisted hard, and it was extremely difficult to get up. Haha, how does it feel to be knocked down? You are the Hulk. Stand up. Stand up. Everyone says that I'm your defective product and failure, but so what? You are just a waste without a brain. The abomination raised his foot fiercely and stepped on the struggling Hulk, roaring triumphantly and arrogantly, wantonly belittling and mocking to vent his long suppressed inferiority complex. Roar! Exclamation mark. Hulk roared angrily, trying to break free from his restraints and get rid of his hate's wanton insults, but he couldn't do it. Bang! 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 Ha ha ha. Cool. Hate deliberately stepped on Hulk and humiliated him. He portrayed the face of a villain who had succeeded to the fullest. There will be a punishment for the arrogance of the people. The man who enforces justice is here. Fuck your uncle. That's not right. A mentally retarded person, like you can't understand Chinese at all. Fuck you. Hey, did you hear that? Fuck you. Chen Bei couldn't stand it anymore. After all, Hulk represents us superheroes. How can you insult him? We can't let heroes bleed and cry. He went up and cursed at hate. Well, the quintessence of Chinese culture is the quintessence of Chinese culture. He felt so excited in his heart. The momentum came up immediately. If you don't curse someone with fuck you, it won't be exciting at all. Chen Bei's sudden appearance once again shocked everyone. This little guy openly provoked the militarist hatred? God, this performance artist is so brave. Haha. I like this guy. I'm afraid of this guy, so I'll step on the face of hatred to death. Fuck you. So exciting. I'll scold people like this in the future. This really excited the group of spectators. Boy, have a good journey. The hatred in the field reacted and turned to look at Chen Bei. Fuck you. You dare to scold me, aren't you afraid of death? The hatred is so disgusting that I can't eat, even if I look at it for one more time. Chen Bei can't stand it. Fuck you. It's not your fault that you are ugly, but it's your fault that you come out to scare me. I can't stand it. It's too ugly. Chen Bei roared, as if his eyes and his heart were disgusted by the ugliness of hatred. He got up in anger and punched the head of hatred. Boom. The abomination, who had no time to react, was knocked down by Chen Bei's punch. Do you know the speed of lightning? Do you know the speed of teleportation? Puff. The slightly injured abomination vomited disgusting yellow water and almost vomited Chen Bei's overnight meal. Fuck it. For the first time, Chen Bei felt that his good eyesight was also a mistake. Sneak attack. You. Bang. Abomination didn't even finish a complete sentence and was punched back by Chen Bei again, and the words were stuck in his throat. Roar! Exclamation mark. I'll fight you. Abomination was hit in the face twice, and he was immediately furious. Do you understand the rule of not hitting people in the face? And you specifically hit them in the face? The abomination jumped up and waved his fists to hit Chen Bei's head. He wanted to fight back. If Chen Bei hit his head, he would hit Chen Bei's head. You? Cannon punch? I'll let you cannon punch. The attack of the abomination is completely meaningless. It would be a miracle if he could meet Chen Bei, who could teleport. With a whoosh, Chen Bei disappeared from the spot. The abomination's punch missed, and his footing was unstable. The whole person tilted forward, and Chen Bei appeared behind him at this moment. Eat shit for me. Chen Bei kicked directly at the waist of the abomination, and then released a 1,000,000-volt lightning at his head. He now has a strength of nearly 30 tons. Although he can't compare with the Hulk and the abomination, it's not bad. With a thud, the abomination fell down and fainted, and immediately did a classic dog eating shit action. The audience gave this wave 9.999 points. Ross, who was far away, realized that his trump card was so vulnerable. How could he tolerate this? Everyone, aim at the perverted lunatic wearing a haze mask and attack. Ross roared and ordered with gritted teeth. How come there are perverts everywhere these days? Fuck. Boom boom boom. Da da da. For a moment, the sky was filled with flames and artillery fire. HMPH, a trifle. Can such an attack hit him? Chen Bei grabbed the stunned abomination with his left hand, and grabbed a green fat man who had just recovered, and was stunned by the electricity with his right hand, and used him as a meat shield. I'll block. 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 If you can hit me, you lose. Ahem. Say ORUI. I didn't mean to do it. I just did it on purpose. Okay. This. Everyone was dumbfounded, confused, and felt that their brains were completely unable to turn around. There is such an operation? God's operation. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.